Survivor's ready. Go!
Travis spoken.
Boston Rob and Amber are gonna do it.
This is a business trip, as I like to say.
You, Brad Culpepper.
I'm tired of you and the fucking chicken.
You can call me the puppet master. They can be my little puppets.
It's not like you're making a deal with the devil here.
You get to milk your own milk, I guess.
Who the hell voted for me?
Chicken.
We got enough rocks here, too. We could build a pretty decent shelter just using rocks.
I'm supposed to talk Lime, or you understand that better?
Direct from Hobart, it's time for the only Survivor podcast in Australia dedicated to Survivor, bringing you all the latest interviews, episodes, and opinions from the greatest reality show on the planet. It's Survivor Oz, and here's your host, Ben Waterworth. Hello, everybody, and welcome once again to Survivor Oz as we come to you for our 30th, that's right, our 30th Ozcap, as we go over the 30th season of Survivor Worlds Apart. We only record these every 6 months or so. We used to record these every 6 minutes, apparently, but it's gotten to the point where we only do 2 of these a year, and I have to say, from a personal perspective, easily one of the most enjoyable episodes that we get to record on this show. I have 3 fantastically awesome and special Ozlets on the line right now to discuss this season, including for only his 3rd time, but more importantly, his 3rd time in a row. Please welcome back Julian Haley Ford Groneberg. Julian, welcome back to Survivor Oz.
Oh, thank you, Ben. And I just love the Constitution and, 3 for 3. So, yay. Excited to be here and talk about this. It's an interesting season. I'm sure we'll have a few disagreements on things, so it'll be good. Look forward to it.
And I'm very excited to say that was the most censored hello you've actually given us in the 3 Ozcaps that you've been a part of.
Yeah, go back and you'll hear some.
Yes, indeed.
No.
Please don't go back and listen to those. Joining us also for his 2nd consecutive Ozcap. He was our only listener of these Ozcaps until he joined Survivor Oz, so now we have no listeners except for ourselves when we record this.
So he's the Max Dawson?
He is the Oh, you just took it away. It is Anthony Kelly Remington Rossi. Anthony, welcome back to Survivor Oz.
Ooh, good to be here. My first and only chance to talk about this season, so I'll make sure I get it all out.
I'm glad. You weren't here for the preview episode? No?
That doesn't count.
No, yeah, well, I blocked that out of my memory a long time ago, so I don't actually know who was on that. Anyway, and also joining us for this Ozcap, please welcome back, for his 30th Ozcap, I have to say, the only person alongside me who's been here for every single one of these, it is Noah Dan Foley Groves. Noah, welcome back to Survivor Oz.
Oh, damn, you took... And of course, we've got Ben, Will Sims Waterworth. Well,
Will Sims busting out.
Yeah, thanks for having me. 30 of them.
No, 30 of them.
30 of them, and he's gone already.
He's gone already. Oh no, he's back. Hang on.
Yeah, I feel like.
He feels so good. He just wants to leave.
It's come true. Boris is in the news at the moment, and if I remember correctly, last Ozcap we mentioned him. So I feel like the cycle every 6 months is. Rolf Harris.
Oh, Rolf Harris. Oh, we're going down that path already.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, like, I feel like
special mention
weird timing that we talked about last Ozcap, and now it's jumping back. It's the circle, but yes.
We must time these with the moons. Must be the same. And,
or Rolf does. No. Rolf's like, they're about to record an Ozcap. Quick, get the news. Timey kangaroo down sport.
Oh dear, Rolf.
Sorry, Noah. You're cutting out anyway. We heard you, but it's great to be here. 30th Ozcap, and it's an absolute fun time that we're going to be having. If you've never listened to an Ozcap before, well, you're in for a treat. You can go back if you want to, right back to our very first Ozcap that went for about 5 minutes, and then our last one went for about 5 weeks. So we certainly like to time these interestingly. We basically are here to go over the season that was Survivor Worlds Apart. If you're listening to this perhaps in a couple of years after Worlds Apart's finished, then oh my god, season 36, what a great season that was. But if you happen to be listening to this just after we've recorded it, well, hello, and aren't we looking forward to season 31. Now, before we get into the swing of things, we always have sound effects for our Ozcaps. We started this tradition in our second Ozcap of the Australian Outback. And recently we've had more than one sound effect. We've had a couple. Now, I think we had about 20,000 sound effects for our San Juan del Sur, and only got 2 sound effects for this episode. So we're scaling back. Budget cuts have meant we can't afford all the sound effects. Our first sound effect for the episode, well, it can only be really one, and it has to be, of course, if it works, the Wilhelm scream. I need Cable here to do it. He does it better. And now also I've got a special one for this Ozcap. Not really related to the season. But look, there have been times in Ozcaps particularly where sometimes we've gone a little bit too far with what we've said and get a little bit OTT. Julian, I'm looking at you. So if I feel we are crossing any lines tonight, I will be pressing this button, which is an alarm to warn you that we are possibly crossing a line that we should not cross, and it is very bloody annoying.
Are you sure you're the one who should be in control of?
I think I might head to Rossi, I feel.
I think you're going to have a little bit too much fun playing.
It's very annoying. It goes for about 25 seconds, so I'll stop that. Go, Noah. He doesn't think what? He's hung up? No?
I don't think you should be the decider of when we've gone too far or not, but that's another story.
Okay. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. But yeah, so there are our sound effects for this episode. Obviously, we had a very talked about preview episode, and we will sort of go over bits and pieces from this Ozcap. But look, again, it has been sorted. We did discuss it a little bit throughout the season. We've obviously apologised and moved on from things that were said in that preview episode, and we stand by that apology. We have discussed it further with several members of the cast, and hello to any Worlds Apart cast who are...
And I just wanted to say something too, Ben, if I could,
Sure.
in regards to that.
Sure.
When I recorded that, we were in, I was in a really, hyperactive mood. It's not an excuse, but, I was judging, people off, a stupid bio. That's the whole thing of it. And, I do apologise because I was, saying sort of offensive stuff, but not intentionally, and just kind of, it's just for shock value, really, as well. And it wasn't personal, and that I think is the biggest thing. And that's why I was definitely regretful for it at the time.
I reckon we get about 87 minutes into this and we hit our hyperactive point, but we won't be obviously going as the extent that happened in that. So yes, all has been sorted and moved on, and I just thought I would pay attention to that as well. And again, hello to any Worlds Apart cast members who have decided to give us another crack and listen to us talk about you guys. We're looking forward to this episode tonight. Let's get into how we always start.
Okay.
What's going on, Noah?
So I have a second chance.
Second. All right. Okay. Thank you. So
Cool.
a little bit more excitement that you had to add there. We always start off with Ozcaps of initial impressions of the season. I'll start with you, Noah. You just interrupted me, so you can interrupt yourself right now and tell me what you thought of Survivor Worlds Apart. Or not. Oh, no, there you are. Hello. Noah has a fantastic line again tonight, folks. So, keeping the tradition of an Ozcap alive, we always have somebody cutting out and vutting every 3 seconds. Go, Noah. Sorry.
I said going into it, I had very high expectations based on a lot of people hyping it up. 3 tribes were back, a new twist, all newbies. I was very excited, and I have to say, a little bit let down from the season. I think it was a bit too negative.
Yep.
But Survivor is like pizza, so it was still good.
Good. Right, he's there. All right, you cut out a little bit now, but we got that at the end. Rossi, Worlds Apart, your impressions of the season?
It was definitely overhyped. Jeff and Lynn both said it was one of the best seasons ever. Yeah, I don't think it was one of the best. Even if it was average, I don't think it was that great. I think for such a close cast, it looks like it's not a close cast, and there's so many things that we're told that I don't believe anymore, and it's all in the air.
I would be intrigued to find out what you don't believe anymore, Rossi. Can you give us a teaser at all?
Well, they sold that this was the closest cast in the history of the show. But after watching the season, I don't know about that.
Good point. Julian, I think you've got a bit of a different perspective on this. I think you actually are quite fond of this season, are you not?
Well, I do agree with everything that's kind of been said already, but yeah, like I do think it was overhyped, and I do think that for the 30th season, I was sort of hoping that they did a bigger sort of like returning player thing. At the time, I was like, well, at least it's, that looked like it could be Survivor Kagayan style, and yeah, it was not as good as that by any means, but I would still put it in my top 15 seasons. So, that's probably around 15 when we do rankings. So, I don't know. That's sort of it. To me, it definitely had good points, and there was like a lot of drama in it. You can't say that it didn't have drama, but yeah, I don't know how close the cast is. I sort of feel like they were just celebrating the fact that they were the 30th group while it was on, and trying to maximize their moment for as long as possible, and I totally get that. And I'm sure a lot of them are really close, but I'm sure that there's people that are on the fringe as well. I think it's pretty impossible for 18 people to stay close forever, especially the people that were pre-jury and didn't really spend that much time. So it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Top 15, you reckon? Is that right, Julian? Is that where you put in your rankings, is it?
Just the top 15, I think.
Okay.
I'm trying to remember where
I'm just looking at your rankings now, and you officially put it in 17th. So.
Oh, really? Okay, so yeah. Well, there you go. I'm almost willing to bump it up a bit. But there you go. Like, I think that's sort of middle, though. Would you agree?
Yeah, no, look, well, it's yeah, I was just teasing, but I would... Sorry, hang on, am I meant to play this? Ben, teasing? No, you can't say that. Sorry.
You're such a mean Ben. Yeah, no. Okay.
Anyway, so this season, well, funnily enough, the 30th season was filmed between the 4th of August 2014 and September 11, 2014. It aired February 25th, 2015 to May the 20th, 2015, filmed in San Juan del Sur, Nicaragua, the fourth time that we've had a season filmed in Nicaragua, meaning that since season 19 we've only used 3 locations, well, 4 technically, 3 countries I should say. Of course we had 2 different locations in the Philippines, but yeah, only the Philippines.
10 minutes down the road.
Yeah, Philippines, Samoa, and Nicaragua have only been used since season 19. So good to see that we're going somewhere new for season 31, of course. 18 castaways, and we had 3 tribes. Third season in a row that we had all new players. The first time since the stretch between Gabon and Samoa that we had 3 consecutive seasons of all new players. And in terms of the twists and changes, according to our dear friends over at Survivor Wiki, we had a tribe division this season. Fuck!
They're rare as hen's teeth.
You just never see them in Survivor. Obviously, the big tribe division this season, of course, was white collar, blue collar, and no collar. The tribes were Messiah, Escameca, and Nagarote. Nagarote, no collar, Escameca, blue collar, Messiah, white collar. We had tribe leaders at the start of the season. 2 people from each tribe were chosen as leaders and would have to decide between receiving a large bag of beans or receiving a small bag of beans, and included the hidden idol. And of course, the big twist this season that was talked about a lot, and we finally saw it, was his extra vote. I'm sure we will talk about that throughout the season. Initial impressions, though, Jared, we'll go to you. 3 tribe split and the twist.
Jared, where's Jared?
Julian. I'm doing this again.
His last one was Kagayan. He quit after that.
Too many J's.
So wait, what was the initial impressions of the split?
So the 3 tribe split and the twist. The big white collar, blue collar, no collar twist. Did you like it? Did it work?
Well, yeah, when he announced at the finale, I was like, oh, actually, that's not too bad of a theme. Like, I thought it could be pretty good. But then I started thinking about it. I was like, well, in a way, they've sort of done this. Like, we've had so many quintessential blue-collar, white-collar, and no-collar sort of contestants. But the fact that they all divided them, and I thought it was a lot better the way they divided them than in Kagayan. Like, I felt in this time, I mean, it wasn't perfect, but they got them more into their sort of molds. I don't know. I just feel like that fit a little bit better, and so I liked it. Yeah, it was really good.
I agree. I feel that this season had where I think there was a certain point in Kagayama where you forgot about Brains Brawn's beauty, whereas I feel this season particularly with the blue collars, it really hung around a lot, didn't it? Like,
it went through the whole season, which was nice.
Yeah, you were constantly reminded of it. Rossi, your take on the twist and the divisions?
I was a fan of it. I kind of like the new collar twist, I guess. One thing I did like Julie mentioned, that it was better than Kageyan, was the fact that it was more noticeable who was the affiliation, and who struggled, the white collar struggled to make fire, and someone's like, oh well, we get blue collar to do this, and I like those kind of not funny, but like those moments
when they really reference it themselves, so to speak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But can I say something because I agree with that, but I do feel like they were fed lines from the producers so much, like, how do you feel as a no collar, like it was like they were really trying to milk that, but yeah, it was still good because they embraced it later on almost, so that was cool.
Okay. Noah?
It doesn't really bother me too much because they switch it up in episode 5 every time anyway, but I thought it was a pretty good thing. I still laugh at no collar, like that's such a typical Jeff Probst make up something that doesn't exist kind of thing, and it really is just Brains Brawn beauty again. Is it like that was successful, so they brought in white collar, and Jeff referenced them as the brains in one of the challenges. Blue collar was obviously the brawn, and then no collar the beauty. It's just the same twist, but yeah, I thought it was fine, and it was more prevalent. But some people were a bit, like Lindsay, no collar. Lindsay's a no collar, I think, and like Will was in a YouTube video, but is he a no collar? But for the most part, I think they got it pretty well done. So I thought overall it wasn't a bad twist, but I don't want to see it again, though.
I think originally wasn't it meant to be upper class, middle class, and lower class? Isn't that kind of the long-standing rumor?
That was the rumor.
Yeah, and
I don't think that's true, though.
Yeah, I mean, would that not have made, would that have been more of an
that
interesting
would have been more
twist?
Controversial, I feel, like labelling it that, almost. I don't know. It's sort of the same.
The upper class
maybe
would never win, and it would be too controversial.
So
No.
Kind of like Cook Islands, like just pushing that barrier.
Yeah, well, if any of the upper class made the finals, no one would get the vote, so no.
Okay. Rossi, what did you think about if they had done that?
Probably worse than it was received now.
Okay. Fair enough. It's a good point, actually, Noah. I like your comparison there with Brains Brawn's beauty. But I guess, would this be a twist that you feel they'd revisit again? Because, spoiler alert, for season 32, it is strongly rumoured that they will be revisiting Brains Brawn's beauty for a second time. And we do know how they love to, on Survivor, rehash a twist that was successful first time around. Noah, do you feel this is something that they will ever do again?
Yeah, that's funny though. I was just writing today about sequels in Survivor. They love to rehash their successes, but I feel like this was a success, but I don't think it was necessarily a viewer success. Like Blood vs. Water was massive, so of course they were going to do that ASAP. So I feel like from a production standpoint, but a viewer one, not enough draw for people to watch it again. If they did number 2, I think they'd just do a different twist.
And many would argue that sequels in Survivor are like the Speed 2 compared to Speed 1, not like the Terminator 2 Judgment Day compared to Terminator 1. So they generally fail.
Let's not get into this. Perhaps a Jurassic World. I haven't seen it yet, so I'm not sure.
Oh, well, Jurassic World, let's just say, is the best sequel they've ever done of Jurassic Park. Well, not that hard, considering Jurassic Park 3 exists in that canon, but look, The Lost World is an okay sequel, but again, Jurassic Park 3 exists, so we'll just not that hard to beat that movie. Anyway, we're not doing Jurassic World Oz. Maybe we should. It's fucking brilliant, Noah.
Salvation.
Go and see it. Like, how have you not seen Jurassic World?
No, I'm seeing Mad Max tomorrow. I don't have
fuck Mad Max. Who cares about Mad Max?
I've seen Jurassic World, and I never go to the movies, so...
Like, this made like $200 million on its opening weekend. It made more than Jurassic Park 3 did in its opening weekend in Jurassic Park 3 entire run. So
I'm sure San Andreas did well in the box office, and you don't see me watching that.
Hey, that was a good movie. I want to watch that. Like, and can I just point out that The Rock is he's overly large. Like, he's a very big man.
Well, he's called the Rock for a reason. He's not called the Stone.
But
Or the Pebble.
But I just want to point out that, like, his love interest looked like a midget compared to him in the movie. Like, anyway, movie Oz.
Moving on, or movie on.
Hey, Julian.
Yeah, movie on.
I need an anti-alarm. Before we move on to start talking about the twist, we should mention this, the tribe leaders twist at the start. We had the two people chosen, of course, at the start. Noah, did you like how they did this, having the two leaders chosen at the start rather than just having your generic one?
I didn't like this. I think it's a waste of time in the opening episode. I'd like to get to know people in the opening, and yeah, you get to know them through that, but it seems like a bit of a waste of time. Everyone's alert now. They've broken the system. No one takes the idol unless you're Joaquin. So I feel like this is a waste of time, but they'll probably always do it with these 3 tribe seasons. And it was a bit better having another person because it was kind of fun seeing Joaquin and So. But for the rest of them, it was kind of a bit random and mess. So yeah, I'm not a fan of this whole send people off randomly. It's not that good.
Rossi?
I didn't mind it. It was a twist, and we saw the downfall of So through it, so, I mean, it was cool.
Not a So fan?
No, I like So, but it was funny.
Okay. Julian?
I don't need to see this twist again either. Like, I think it sort of is broken down. The standard's just going to be like, the conventional wisdom is not to to do the best thing for the tribe on day one. Like, come on. And I don't know. I think they also hyped this twist up too. They said right from day one they'll have to make a choice, and I sort of hoped it would be something a little bit better than what we just seen 2 seasons ago in Kageyama. But that said, like, it added a lot to that episode. So, I mean, I'm all for that. But I like twists that are more than just one episode, I guess.
So
we got sandwiches.
Yeah, well, we got promise, and he never came through with that promise. Well, not that we saw.
Deleted YouTube scene.
Joaquin and So were on the white collar tribe, Dan and Mike for the blue collar, and Will and Jen. Forget that pairing, don't we? On the no collar tribe. And as we said, they got a choice between a big bag of beans and a smaller bag of beans and a clue to the immunity idol. And of course, Joaquin and So took the clue. They made up their lovely little 3-choice lie. Dan and Mike told the truth, and then at No Collar, did they tell the truth as well? Yeah, they did. Yeah, that was so long ago. Come on, guys. But anyway, so it led to eventually, in the first episode, White Collar would lose. Messiah is White Collar. Of course, their tribe colour was yellow. Noah, you're still ropeable that they actually weren't white, I believe.
Oh, yes. Bring the white buffs in. They did it in Survivor South Africa. Like, what's happening? And then, I don't know if they did that, though. No Collar would have to have no buffs. It might not work.
They'd have to be like, they'd have to have flesh come.
Clear.
Yeah.
It's just Glad wrap.
Yeah.
With Survivor written in permanent marker.
Hey, budget cuts.
And No Collar, they make do.
If they were to have, like, if they had a white buff or a clear buff, you wouldn't be able to have it, but that would sell out so quickly because I mean it would be so unique. We've never had. If they bring it
like the invisibility cloak from Harry Potter.
Hey, that would work.
CBS
it worked
really had the money to actually produce buffs, so they put one up saying clear buff, and it's just nothing.
Well, it worked for Sierra. I mean, she was invisible this season, so clearly.
Yeah. Hey.
Oh, hang on. Sorry. Hang on. There we go.
The inaugural Purple Kelly buff. It's just a clear nothing.
Sorry, I did put the alarm on myself there, apparently. Okay, so we start off by talking about So Kim. Of course, she was meant to be on San Juan del Sur with her sister. So her sister was called Do Kim, am I correct?
Yes.
Yes, all right, because we brought that up in an Oztopsy, and I felt I was completely disrespectful because I thought you were joking, but... No, her sister was Do. So,
where's they from? Are they Korean or does?
I think they're Korean. Kim's generally, I want to say Korean. I will try and find that out to confirm that. But generally, the name Kim is quite Korean. Julian, what was your...
I fucking loved So. I was so disappointed that she left. It's going to be really hard to talk about her without trying to make a lame So joke.
You're so disappointed that So left. Yep.
Yeah, I've already said the word So twice without even meaning it to be like that. But yeah, I'm glad that she got at least Malcolm after the season, and because she had a tough run. Like that would be pretty gutting, she could have been a really savvy player, and I would have loved a chick like her to go a lot further in this season. Like, I feel like she was really sort of like sassy, and I still have such a good opinion of her. So it was a real shame, like, when she went first. And honestly, she made like a really big impact in one episode. So that's pretty good for a first boot.
So you would rank her up there as top 10 first boot?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Okay. Was it a surprise that she went first boot? Like, I mean, I don't know. I didn't think she would necessarily go early.
In a 6 tribe, yeah, like once they lost the challenge and just the way it sort of fell, like not really a surprise, but yeah, I reckon she would have been fine if it was a tribe of 10 or 8 or 9. Yeah, there would have been someone else to vote out.
I loved it. One of our best recaps we had of the season, probably the best recap we had of the season, when we had the twinnies and Nadia and Natalie on, and they were talking about So and Do, because they basically were saying that they would have been in, an alliance, and how it would have all worked out. So that would have been fantastic to see the twinnies and So and Do working together, because and I really feel as if So had been on Sam Wandell's search, he would have gone a lot further. I just feel that
yeah.
Yes.
So was robbed. So was so
She
robbed.
was so robbed. Rossi, was she so...
So what?
So, Rossi, So.
So, I do like her, but I have to laugh at what she was thinking. The neutral box was the one to collect. In what situation?
It's a very underrated thing, the neutral box.
The underrated
Survivor cereal size. You got small, large, and the neutral.
But what's wrong with picking the honest box? I don't get in her twist, in her scheme, how being neutral is the...
It's a shit word.
She's very Swiss. Actually, she's not from Korea. She's from Switzerland. Clearly, she wants the neutral box. So,
what would happen if she took the non-honest one, the deceive box, but then she told people about it and was honest about it? Wouldn't that be then the honest box?
Well, isn't any box then the honest box?
Well, not the neutral box, of course.
I bet you in 3 seasons' time, Jeff Probst is going to be like, yeah, we came up with this idea from Survivor Worlds Apart that So came up with. So we've got the honest box, the neutral box, and the deception box.
The Tyler Perry neutral box.
The So Kim box.
The Tyler Perry box. We've never done it before.
Yes. But Rossi, So seems to be somebody that you would love. Am I correct in assuming that?
I like So.
You do?
Yeah.
That's so good. I'm glad you do. Noah, you're the first boot king, the first king boot. So I'm assuming. Where would you put So?
I think she maybe cracks the top 10 or at least the top 15. Good addition to the first boot club. You need the hot chick in the first boot club, besides Deb Eaton, of course. And yeah, she was really good, but I do like it when someone with a lot of potential goes out first, because it's when it's just a random person like Jessica DeBen or something goes out first. It's just kind of alright, that was the first episode and Jessica DeBen's gone. But now it's oh, wow.
Sorry, no, I don't like this Jessica DeBen hate all of a sudden.
Well, he's on Jeff Probst's list of people he wants to return, so yeah, I don't know what's with Jessica DeBen, but I really liked So, but Max Dawson did have a good quote where he's in Tribal Council where he said, I would have lied too, but I would have done a better job at it, because she was really bad at the whole even Joaquin was face palming, and he was bad altogether with that whole thing. So yeah, I keep saying So, damn it. Yeah, I feel like Alina needs to make an advertisement poster or something like "So Kim, so fresh" or something. Hits of Nicaragua.
So Kim, hits of winter 2015.
Nicaraguan hits 2015. So Kim. But yeah, in San Juan del Sur, I think she would have done a lot better if she was on Toyota or Hunapu. Either way, I think there wouldn't have been the all-men alliance because it would have been 5-5 on the Toyota tribe. And Hunapu, I feel like she could have got in with the majority. So even though I keep saying so, I think she was a fun character who I wouldn't mind seeing back on a second chance or something. But I was fine with her being first boot. It would have been good to see her on San Juan del Sur would do.
I feel like... Oh, sorry. I was just going to say...
Julian.
Thanks, Ben. I was just going to say, I feel like by the time she had to wait for Worlds Apart, she probably was just too eager to get out of the gate and just felt that she had to play too hard or something. I don't know. She was just too hasty.
It's rough to go from being cut from San Juan del Sur, being brought back, and then forced out. That's rough.
Well, it's very Timbertina, isn't it? Like cast for one season, cut for a reason really out of their control, and then the first boot. So there probably is something in there that Julian's saying about you're so anxious, you've waited all this time that either you screw up or... I think there's a pattern in there. I just want to point out quickly to people who are wondering why the hell I cracked up laughing over So Kim Hits of Winter 2015. If you're not Australian and you have no idea what So Fresh is, it's a compilation they put out every 3 months with sort of, the biggest hits on the radio.
It's like now that's what I call music.
Yeah, well, exactly. Yes, it's generally Sony and Universal artists. Or no, hang on, Sony and Warner. I used to work at Sanity. I can't remember exactly what. It's two record companies. They put all the, so Britney Spears is on it and all those sort of things.
There's always a few doozies on there.
1998 called and they want their compilation back. I didn't know they still put them out.
Hey, it's been going every season, so it comes out, summer, spring, winter, and autumn, or fall for the Americans. And it's
so it's a lie when they say it's So Fresh because they've been doing it for 20 years.
Yeah, if you happen to pick up like So Fresh Hits of Spring 2004, it's a bit out of date. But I have a few of them. So
she looks like she could be a singer, a pop star.
You just had them to see if they mentioned Survivor Roles.
I just buy it every 3 months. Damn it! Drake didn't mention Survivor Oz in his latest song.
Yeah, that's what you have them.
I liked So. I wasn't too disappointed that she was first because I didn't want Joaquin to go. I
didn't want Carolyn to go. That's why I didn't mind that.
Well, how are we not talking about first episode Carolyn? Obviously holds the record for most confessionals in a first episode. And really set her up, and I mean, she was the clear standout star of the episode. Maybe we shouldn't talk too much about Carolyn because we'll obviously get to her.
It's like a superhero first episode.
Does she also hold the record though? And we will get to her, but for the most days holding an idol before it's played?
I believe that has been proven.
That's pretty cool.
Because she found it. Was it? She found it on the second day? Was it? Or did she find it on the first day?
I don't know. Very early.
Don't know. But we've obviously had people find it in the first episode before. I mean, Garrett did he not? And Christina, yes. But I believe Julian.
No, she didn't find it.
I know, she was robbed. But they star Carolyn. We'll get to her. All right, so moving right along. After we went. We went to.
Stop.
Oh, where's the alarm sound? Nagarote, no collar lost next, and we lost Vince. I remember that preview episode. I did remember bits of it. We spent a good portion of it not particularly liking Vince and thinking that he was going to be an absolute flog, to use an old Survivor Oz quote. But by the end of Vince's time, we were all crying. We wanted Vince to stay. Noah, poor Vince Sly. We want more Vince Sly.
I'd like to personally apologise to Vince for what I said on that episode because he was such a great character. I said he was going to be...
You said he was going to be... Well, he said he was going to be, and he goes away.
A poor character.
Oh, there you are. Hello, Noah. Continue, Noah. We can hear you now.
He was constantly entertaining. Actually, after the first episode, I wasn't too sold on him, but the second episode, I'm like, this guy is amazing. I can't wait to see him dominate the season with his craziness. And then he went, and funny story, I actually watched that episode after getting home from the pub one night at like 3 a.m. in the morning. And I fell asleep at the end, and I thought Nina had been voted out. And I checked Facebook the morning.
Yep.
What? Rich didn't get voted out, and yeah.
I mean, I had that a lot this season personally. That with Vince, yeah, I was kind of at the first episode because we kind of had creepy Vince, like Jen, I love you, and then like awesome Vince, and like Joe, I was kind of like meh Joe. But by the time Joe got voted out, spoiler alert, he gets voted out before we get to him. I was kind of like halfway through that episode, I don't mind Joe. And then he got voted out. So, anyway. So went before. I can't stop doing it. Rossi. Oh, sorry. Hang on a minute.
Yeah.
Thank you, Julian. Rossi. Mr. Sly.
No, not so.
No!
Vince. I'm going to have to use everyone's name as the adjective of so. Like, replace it.
Just use do.
Oh, okay.
Do not do that, Ross.
Oh, no.
Oh, dear.
So Vince was interesting. No one quite like Vince. But I did really like him. I liked him preseason. He actually had good strategy for a second boot. He was in the alliances. He was making the plays, but obviously when Will and Neen are on the season, you can't really do any moves. So he was out, and I was upset.
It was a shock, I feel, that he went, because his edit too, I don't really made him out to be too much. I for sure thought Nina was going as well. And I think you saw on Vince's face, didn't you, just how much of a shock it was. And thank you very much.
One of the only blind sides of the season.
Thanks, Will.
That was a good episode, yeah.
Julian, Mr. Sly?
I actually, I think I burnt him, a little bit in the preseason, picture. I was like, oh my God, who is this guy? What's his deal? But I knew he would be a good character, and he was. He was amazing. It's just a pity that he went so early, that was a real shame. But, I mean, at least we got some gold. It wasn't like he was invisible for his 2 episodes. So you just have to be thankful for that because there's so many seasons where first and second boots are just so invisible and just, yeah. So, I mean, at least, yeah.
Well, he was not invisible because in his 2 episodes, he got 12 confessionals, which was the same amount as Kelly, and she was in 7 episodes. He got more confessionals than Joaquin did. He got more confessionals than Max did. He got more confessionals than Lindsay did, and he got more confessionals than Nina did. So
I think the show would have been pretty gutted when he was gone. I reckon they would have been like, damn it.
He only got 2 less than Haley, and to put it in comparison, Sierra got 20, and she was in every episode of the season. So she went
Why
before.
didn't they bring him back for a second chance? I feel like he's the coach. I feel like they like these coach-like characters. So why wasn't he on the ballot?
I feel that, yeah, for sure, him and Rodney not being on that second chances list, an absolute travesty. And no offense to Max and Joe, but I think all of us here would, and a lot of Survivor fans, for a character perspective, would rather see Vince and Rodney on that list over Joe and Max.
Well, here's the deal with Rodney. He will be brought back eventually. Vince, this is the only twist they can bring back Vince. So, if anything, Vince should have been on this one, and they can bring back Rodney for a fans list favourite 3 or whatever they do. But Vince, he won't be back now, sure.
It's kind of like an interesting season that the first 2 boots you would say would be great on a return. Because I mean, I feel So is kind of like that Francesca. I think So could be brought back as well. I don't know if anyone here. Yeah.
I put her in my top 10 snubs, and even though she wasn't really a snub, because she was... Oh, hang on.
Just go. He's voting out left, right, and centre. Just keep going.
You go, Noah.
No, you've been polite. Okay.
I just said that if they liked her enough to keep her in when Do got cut and bring her back next season, they obviously like her, so I could see them bringing her back.
Look, Vince was one of these surprises that we get in these seasons that I think, and we'll get to that probably with Tyler, and I feel, at least with Noah, and I haven't really gotten too much, Julian and Rossi, your thoughts on Joaquin. There were a few people that we were a bit critical, I think, in the pre-season episode, and they turned out to be great characters and great players, and Vince, I feel, in terms of the character perspective at least, and he did play strongly, surprised a lot of us that we actually quite enjoyed him after just ripping him a new one in the preview one. So yeah,
still crying that he was voted out.
Yes, we so want Vince back, and so both of them. Yes, indeed. No collar lose again. That means we got to lose another player, and Nina is gone next. Rossi, let's start with you, dear old Nina. What are your thoughts on Nina?
At the time, watching it, I really wasn't a fan of Nina, because I felt that she was just whiny and annoying, but I really like Nina now that I think about her. She had a very interesting story for such a short amount of time that I thought could actually progress into the future episodes and she would be safe, but she was gone. And I was sad.
Okay. Julian, were you sad about Nina?
Yeah, like I was a little bit disappointed watching it because I just wanted her to do better. I really was rooting for her, and then I was like, oh, girl, you're not helping yourself, blah, blah, blah. But she was on a pretty difficult tribe in terms of, like, she considered herself more of a white collar, so maybe that was one that was, like, when you've only got five, there was a generation thing. I can kind of see why it happened the way it did, and, yeah, I think she would be interesting to hear from because I don't think she played... Actually, she didn't play the best game, but I can see why it happened the way it did. Yeah,
it's very difficult for her.
So
of course,
Nina,
yeah,
it's cool to have like another. I'm glad they brought the deaf sort of thing back again because I never thought like they would do something like that at season 30. So it was good.
I liked it too. Obviously, it'd been 24 seasons since we had Christy, so it was good. But it was. I think we mentioned this in one of the Oztopsies. I feel as though. This is what I think a lot of people expected from Christy, that she would be segregated a little bit because of her impairment, and I'm not saying entirely that's what happened with Nina, but obviously there was a part of it which, well, at least she felt, was why she was kind of targeted and sort of not in with the group. But yeah, it was. Yeah,
it's a disadvantage. Like you can't really put it any other way. In a game like Survivor, that's always going to be.
And particularly in a tribe of 5 at that point, because, I mean, with Vince gone, they only have 5 people left. So, yeah, that's how it worked out. Noah, Nina?
I liked her going into it, like bringing the whole deaf thing back. She was a fan of the game. I think she was in POS before time. Yeah, a tribe of 5, and you're the only older person on it. Although Will was close to her age. And the death thing as well, it's really rough to be on that, but I wasn't a huge fan of it. Too much of the moniker, like, haven't you met a neat lady kind of thing. But how epic would have the Will, Nina and Vince alliance been if Vince's plan worked? Like, he kind of shot himself in the foot when he called Will unfit, but that would have been the most, like, craziest alliance of, like, misfit people who you'd never expect to see in an alliance, but would have been epic. So I was very disappointed that didn't happen. And Joe's whole strategy of, Nina, you sit out of the challenge, I'm still facing that. I was critical of that. Oztopsy of that.
Yes. Yeah, that was one of the more unique decisions in Survivor.
I'm still cringing.
And was that the same challenge where then she just ran ahead and did nothing? Was that the one, or was that a different challenge? There was another. No, that's the same challenge.
No, that was the same one. Yeah. But what was crazy about that is the challenge was have as many people as possible plug holes. It wasn't like 4 people do this and then 3 people do that. The challenge was... I still can't believe it.
Go, Jared.
Yeah, it was
Julian.
episode 3.
Fuck! Stop calling him Jared. Your name's Julian.
Yeah, I'll take it. Whatever. The thing is that she just didn't She should have been a bit more assertive though. Like she just didn't say no. You need I don't know. I know that's really hard when Joe's obviously the leader of that tribe and everyone just does what he says. But yeah, I don't know. Pity.
Have to mention to Noah, Rossi's brought it up. Any comments on episode 3, Noah?
Yeah, I can't even remember his name. Alex, was it? If you're listening, episode was the one you leave me with the worst episode in Survivor history.
Oh yes, sorry about that. That was the episode. So do you honestly believe it's the worst episode in Survivor history?
Maybe not the worst, but bottom 20, and you left me with that freaking one. This is my big break.
Here I am. I get to take over the world, and I get the shit episode.
Yeah, I was not a fan of that episode coming off the high of the first 2.
Yes. And that was a Kathy recap, wasn't it?
Yeah, she didn't love that episode.
Yes, she wasn't a fan. Hello to Kathy, if you are listening. Yeah, look, Nina was, she was a neat lady. But yeah, I wasn't a huge Nina fan, but again, I would have liked to have seen her go in second over Vince, but she seems like a nice lady, and look forward to getting her on Survivor Oz eventually. Speaking of eventually, Blue Collar had to lose, and they did. Eskameka lost, and we had at this point everybody yelling and screaming and swearing at each other on Blue Collar. We had a few controversial comments by a certain Rodney. Certain things were starting to heat up, and eventually it was all down to Lindsay Cascade Lager to go. She's only 24. I thought she was older than that. I like Lindsay. Noah, do you like Lindsay? No?
He's readjusting himself.
Oh, sorry, I haven't seen the message. All right,
she was okay, but as I said in the Oztopsy, I liked her when she was in the show. I didn't miss her when she was gone. She was entertaining. I would have liked to have seen her do better, but she was just kind of there in the end. And the alternative girls just can never make it. It's very upsetting.
What is it about the alternative girls not making it? Is this just the curse of Survivor? No? Are you still adjusting yourself?
It's not.
That's butting out there.
Great job, Noah, before I'm getting to a new part with good connections. Good job. Snug's doing well tonight.
I said, if you can hear me.
Can now.
Can you? I said that it's no curse. It's people look for any reason to vote someone else out. And if you're a bit different, you have tats, you talk and act a bit different, then they're going to find any reason. So I don't think it's a curse, but it's unfortunate.
Have we had a winner with a tattoo? Richard had a tattoo, but did he have that before or after Survivor?
He's freaking ass. Tony,
yes, of course. There you go. Have we had a female winner with a tattoo before?
Well, we'd have to see them all completely nude to know for sure, wouldn't we?
We'll get on to that, Julian.
Natalie
has a tattoo?
Doesn't she have a tattoo of Sri Lanka? Or is that Nadia or both?
You might
That's
be right.
news to me, but I will look out for it.
Well,
either one or both have it.
Okay, there you go. I mean, that's just a random trivia question. It's probably on Survivor Wiki. She is the first female winner to have a tattoo of Sri Lanka on her. It's just a random stat, thanks to Survivor Wiki. Rossi, Lindsay.
I love Lindsay, and I was so sad that she left. She was a great character. She wasn't bad at the gameplay. She was good in the challenges. Well, I don't know, normal in the challenges. Nothing stand out, like no Nina. And I thought she would have stayed because the way the episode was going, it looked like Rodney could have gone from what he had said, but...
Oh, okay. Julian?
Yeah, I didn't really mind to see her go. Like, I do want the alternative, like someone to go further, but I liked the fact that she was outspoken, though. I always appreciate that in people, but obviously that doesn't go very well for longevity in the game a lot of the time. And even though Rodney was outspoken in a different way, like they sort of, I don't know, they needed like his strength, or perceived strength. So yeah.
I'm actually very disappointed that for one of the sound effects I didn't get Rodney's impersonation of Mike. And we were going to have the I'm Batman quote. We were just going to have I'm Batman for Mike. Oh, bugger. Start again. For that, let's just have a special sound effect because we haven't had it in a while. Thank you, Cable. Yeah, I mean, at this point, for Lindsay, I like Lindsay, but if it was between Lindsay and Rodney going home, I'm glad it was Lindsay. Sorry, Lindsay. But I love Rodney too much. And
it was a tie, wasn't it?
It was a tie, but then they were doing that to force the idol, were they not? Well,
yeah, and then we had the Sierra on the end.
We had, Sierra, Rodney, Lindsay tie. I love how, I'm glad you brought that up now, because we never mention ties on these things. We've got Tyler, but no, bad joke, Ben, fail. Yes, Lindsay went home. And so will Ben, if he continues to make jokes about that. Imagine if Rodney had gone then instead of Lindsay. Like, how much would have been robbed that season? Anyway.
I thought it was a real possibility.
Poor Rodney. So then we have a tribe division swap amalgamation, whatever you want to call it. Messiah is no more. We have Nagarote and Escameca. So the new tribes were made up of, for Escameca, Joaquin, Joe, Tyler, Dan, Sierra, Rodney, and Mike. And for Nagarote, Max, Kelly, Haley, Jen, Shirin, Will, and Carolyn. And our first vote out was a bit of a surprise, I feel, because I think a lot of people, he was my prediction to win the game, was a certain Max Dawson. Julian, your take on the Dawsonator?
Where do you start with Max? Like
the beginning.
You can almost do a whole episode on him just
all right, let's do it. This is Max Dawson Oz.
We're just going to split off into a new episode now. Pick up this.
My favourite strand of beard is...
Look, I instantly had a bad reaction to Max, and I think he just has one of those hipster faces. What's that?
Did you get some... Sorry, that was a bad joke. I just said, did you get some cream for it? We had a bad reaction to Max. I'm just going to shut up.
Time to play that siren, Ben. No.
Fail sound.
Max.
Hey, God, this is just me. Keep going, Julian. Sorry.
Max's beard. Like, I just saw his beard. I was just like, oh, my God. Like, look at that beard. I don't know. Like, knowing he was a fan was pretty cool because I was like, that's cool to see. I thought it was a very interesting character. I think he could have been good as a character to be in it further from a television watching perspective, but I was getting irritated watching him, and like he said about his edit, like it was a pretty negative edit, and I'm sure they did just choose, they had to do it in that kind of way. Like I feel like Survivor editors have given a lot of like the fans, it's like they sort of troll the fan a little bit by like, hey, referencing like how crazy the fans of Survivor are. Like, I don't know, even though they are crazy. So I don't know if that,
they do things like podcasts and, you know, all those shit things like that.
Oh, you scratch below the surface and you see the crazies come out. But anyway, Max, I was happy when he went because he was getting on my nerves, and I was just like, thank God it was him and not Shirin at that point. So, yeah.
So you big Shirin fan? We'll get to Shirin.
I'm not a huge Shirin fan, but we will get to her. But yeah, at that point I was like enjoying her and not enjoying him.
Mr. Rossi, Max Alicious, what did you think of him?
Nothing positive to say about Max. I think I appreciate that he's a fan and a big fan, but he was an absolutely terrible player. He was playing trivia games with Jen about the astrological signs of the winners. That's not a good thing to do. Getting naked intentionally, isolating yourself as much as he did. He was all right in the first episode. Oh yeah, that. He is terrible. He did not know anything. He was not aware of anything that he was doing had any sort of effect, and he wasn't able to play the game because no one was willing to play with him because he was so annoying and terrible.
He was a bearded player, which we have never seen a bearded player win
Such a beard.
Survivor. Well, that started the game with a beard.
Have we ever seen such a ginger beard like that either? I don't think so. I'm trying to think of a red sort of
what's
beard.
his name from Caramoan?
Oh, yeah,
Matt.
the guy.
Matt.
Yeah, he was cool. I liked him.
But he had the dreads in his beard. Yes. Awkward silence. Max! Noah, what do you take on him?
The original Survivor hipster. Sophie Clark had a good tweet the night he was voted out. She said, I guess those who can't do teach. I thought that was pretty funny. He had so much promise. He was the all-winner pick. Most people suspected he would go far. And he was a bit of a letdown. I wasn't a fan of all the references. Some of them were good. The Tarzan one was funny.
Yes.
Hold Up Bro was a bit much. Even Jeff was like, eh? What?
I've always wanted to do that.
Yeah, especially when you didn't have an idol. Maybe if you had an idol. But, yeah, the references were a bit much. I like subtle references every now and then. I'm currently rewatching San Juan Del Serra, and at the Merge episode, John quotes Kat Edison. No one wants to date but it's just a little subtle reference. It's not like an obvious, blah, 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 hold up, bro. And he also mentions Jatia, but this isn't San Juan Del Serra all the time.
What a good episode that would be.
I feel like Jatia. I love John. Max, he showed potential. He started an alliance early on with Carolyn Shireen, and the big man, as he called Tyler. But yeah, people just got alienated from him and all the nakedness and everything. So yeah, I wasn't a big fan of him in the end, but I appreciate his fandom at least.
Do you think the Switch screwed him? Do you think he would have made it further had there not been the Switch?
No, because they were planning on voting him out until he won the immunity challenge for them. So, no, I think he would have been voted out that night because Carolyn was responsible for it.
Okay. See you, Max. Of course, was then invited back to come back for second chances, and nobody voted for him to be on the show. So, sorry.
Well,
Max.
he voted for him.
Well, I'm sure he did. Did any of you vote for him to get back on?
No, and if he had have had a different edit, maybe. But it's hard to say whether he deserved his edit though. Do you guys agree with that, or do you think that was completely justified?
Well, I don't know about that, but I do think on a second chance he would have done a lot better. I think he would have made. He
wouldn't have been as nervous, and
he wouldn't have won, but I think he would have done much better than he did this time, especially with knowing all the people that he already knows and just learning from his mistake.
Do you feel like he's like a Cochrane second time around? Not necessarily
yeah, well,
wins
if you put Cochrane in 20 different newbie seasons, he doesn't win a single one. If you put him in 20 returning player ones, he probably wins a few of them. So I feel like Max would be like that.
Imagine
but
Cochrane
not winning. Well, it's just a very real possibility.
All right.
Do you think he'll be back?
Max, yeah, I think he'll be back. I think when these rumours started coming out about this second chance season and it was announced that there were 5 Worlds Apart people on the list, I think we all said that we thought Max would be one of them. So I think he's in quite tight with Jeff, and I mean, I know Jeff didn't exactly treat him brilliantly out there, but I think Jeff loves the fact that he's like taught classes on Survivor, and
it's hard for a vote thing because he got such a weirdo edit and such a negative edit. If it was a producer pick, I think he has a much better chance. I just don't think a lot of the fans liked him based on the weirdo edit he got.
Yeah, for sure. Alright, then we get to our last person to go before the match. Joaquin. Absolutely loved me my Joaquin Super Bowl. I was the only person who liked him pre-season. Then all of you people jumped on the fan bandwagon for Joaquin. Because I'm a hipster, and then he became all popular. It was like Britney Spears, although she was never really a hipster. Bad reference. It was like Kings of Leon. There we go. Kings of Leon reference on the Survivor.
It was like so fresh.
Noah, you loved a bit of Joaquin Super Bowl in the morning, didn't you?
This was another second coming of Vince. Based on the preview app, I was not too kind on him. I thought he was going to be a ridiculous person in the game. And I agreed with that on episode 1, but after that I really liked him and was very upset to see him go. I think he has probably one of the best dry sense of humour the show's ever seen, with his critiquing of Shireen and the rabbit and stuff like that. And he slowly built himself back in. He was actually doing quite good after episode 1, but it all just fizzled out, and Joe got to stay over him with the bromance. But I was very upset to see him go. He should have been on second chance. I thought he was a brilliant character.
Indeed.
Robbed at the reunion.
I agree. Rossi?
I love Joaquin. After a very rough first episode with So in the neutral box, he definitely picked up his game, and he was trying to work with Tyler, and it was working because they were going to vote Max and Shireen off before him, and he was doing well. The switch happened. He was even better position, and then the blue collars were stupid and voted him out. I like him. Sad to see him go.
Mm-hmm. Julian?
Yes, I agree with everything. Like, he was very charismatic. He was just sort of like, he had like a really sort of, I thought his voice sounded a bit nasal, but he had a kind of an accent. Like, he had some good calls. Like, he was pretty funny, but he was a good social player. I think the fact that he did come back from that thing so strongly. And yeah, like it was just that sort of situation. Like, who could have gone the other way? Like, it could have gone the other way with him. Didn't Sierra go back to the blue collars or something, but they could have done a little bit better and realised that the bromance thing. But I don't know. Yeah, he didn't have the worst game, but he definitely could have done some things a little bit better.
Now, I'd say in hindsight whether or not it was a good move to get him out, because Rodney was like around this point, but was he getting from the because he voted out Joaquin, or beforehand? Like, would that have just added more numbers to Rodney's alliance, or would it have blue collar unity?
Well, this was of course the whole the bromance, wasn't it, as well? That was the main reason behind Joaquin really going, wasn't it, to break up?
Well, they were throwing the challenge to get Joe out, but then they got Joaquin out. And I'm not sure in hindsight if it was a good move or a bad move. There's a lot of pros and cons to both of them.
Well, how do you think it would have changed if Joe had gone? Would Joaquin have made it as far as Joe?
Yes.
Well, yeah, it wouldn't be hard. It was 3 more spots or so. But, but it would have given Rodney another number, but wouldn't Rodney have been so angry at Mike like he was if Joaquin was still in the game? So it's hard to really gauge.
Julian, what do you think?
Oh, yeah, I thought that Rodney went back to the blue collars on that vote, but he didn't, did he? Because he was left really shocked after Joaquin got voted out. So, I don't know, I reckon he could have gone a lot further because he wasn't seen as he was a bit more under the radar, and I think that's what people were sort of saying as well. Like, they were a bit sort of threatened by that, like, I think, at that point, and, well, I don't know, yeah, it could have pros and cons for each.
I liked the little bromance between those two. I thought
it's just a match made in heaven.
You don't get to see that kind of dynamic, and too often. Like, so that was funny. Yeah.
Julian, we obviously we like to single you out sometimes. We don't really have a feminine voice in terms of attractiveness.
I'm happy to be that guy.
Well, look, in terms of the looks department, Waki, does he float your boat?
He does. He there's something kind of sexy about him, and I think him and So would have made a pretty hot couple. It's a shame that they couldn't have been like a bit of a power couple, like John and Jacqueline, because I like a good-looking couple in Survivor. It gives it mainstream sort of popularity, and a bit of a showmance is kind of fun. And even if they didn't even if they were just in an alliance, that would have been cool too. Because he had like a really sort of like smooth. He was a smooth operator, and he was smart too. Like I guess what he was doing, his job was in marketing or something like that. So he had a pretty good head on his shoulders, and that was cool because he could relate to people like Rodney really easily and people like Carolyn. So yeah, underrated player.
I've got some Sade stuck in my head right now. Smooth operator. Smooth.
So fresh hits of 2002.
Like 1992 or something. She's from. Who went? Yeah.
Coast to coast, LA to Chicago.
The first So Fresh ever.
Yeah.
So Fresh, 1989. I think. How old Sade? Like
just googling now. It's Sadie. I always used to say Sadie.
It's not John Farnham, Sadie the cleaning lady.
So Fresh hits of 1972.
Sadie the cleaning lady.
That was the top track on So Fresh 72.
Come on, Smooth Opera Sade. What's like the only song I know from her? Come on, Rossi, you're Sade's #1 fan, aren't you? 1984. 1984.
When did So Fresh start? Was there like So Fresh
1947?
Frank
It was late 90s, wasn't it?
2000 it started.
I want to hear So Fresh 1932.
This week on So Fresh, get your latest song by Frank Sinatra.
So Fresh hits of summer.
Featuring this old-time classic from Bing Crosby. Oh!
You'll be hip-hopping and pokering to this, kids.
Don't tell your parents, they won't like it.
Make sure to go in when the bombs hit, kids. So Fresh.
Oh, sorry, I haven't got that going up. Oh, anyway, this week on Sade Oz,
So
only one.
Fresh hits of 4284. Dun, 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 dun.
Let's play the same song again. This week on So Fresh hits of 1520, the latest humdinger from Tchaikovsky.
1680, like a lute and
from 1817 BC, Unga Unga Og Og by Ong 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 Ong, the caveman.
The caveman would be like banging on like rock. Like,
gotta get mammoth, Ong Ong Ong.
Woolly Mammoth Blues by Ong Gong.
Rupert's on the show all of a sudden. Anyway, alright, so
the
yeah,
Gogs.
Remember Gogs? That was a good show, Gogs.
Gogs or Cogs?
It was Gogs.
Yeah, Gogs.
Gogs is awesome.
I
Back
don't
in
know
the
what
days
you're
of
talking about now.
Claymation.
We should do Gogs Oz.
Gogs.
Remember the episode when the baby had snot coming from its nose? Yeah.
There was Gogs, the movie.
Was there?
Yeah.
How did I never see Gogs? Remember the trapdoor? Don't you open that
trapdoor.
Bert, feed me.
Hashtag trapdoor reboot was wrong.
Hashtag random side note.
Trapdoor the movie.
Alright, hang on. Well, sorry, we're getting sidetracked. Woo! We should mention, you mentioned about throwing the challenge. Of course, that was all to save Kelly. And then come the merge. Who goes next? Kelly!
And Mike's acting.
Oh, yes, Mike's acting.
The challenge.
Come on, Kelly, you've got to do this. That's my Batman impersonation, by the way. So yeah, the merge comes along. Before we get to Kelly, let's bring up the name of the merge tribe. America! Fuck yeah! Rossi, America, have you gotten used to it? Are you proud that your nation was represented as a tribe?
Yeah, I'm excited for next year's merge tribe. Going to be Cambodia, Brazil, what is it?
Bodia.
Bodia.
I want that to have Straya.
Canby.
Straya. Snug. Hey, Keith might name it Snug, Noah. I did an interview with Survivor Isles and they had a place called Snug.
Guns down backwards.
Could you imagine if he made the merge and he was like, oh, Snug's the name of my, it means Cambodian for loyal. And then he's like in a confessional, that's just from some interview I did before I came on this season.
Oh, I'm so excited for Keith. But anyway.
Julian, we're just talking about America.
I loved Hayley's quote. She was just so excited about it. She's underrated. Like, I wish she could have got more screen time, but there's just not enough confessionals in an episode or enough time. But if on a more boring season with like less out there people, I feel like she could have had a lot more.
She loves the Constitution, doesn't she? She
does. She's just a cool fucking, like, she's got fighting for a cause, she's just like, yeah.
Constitutionlover.com. That's her web handle, I believe. Visit my website at constitutionlover.com.
But I do hope that now that they've had America, they don't do stupid, like, that doesn't become a thing now to do really stupid, like,
so no
names.
Bodia or, like, Kama or...
could be a bad precedent, but we'll see.
All right, well, Kelly went next. Dear old Kelly. I liked Kelly. I had money on Kelly. From what we saw of Kelly, at least. I keep saying Kelly. Rossi, Kelly, what did you think of Kelly?
Kelly was quite invisible. She overhyped herself a bit. She said she was such a great liar, but in the same episode she was caught lying, and it wasn't great. It's rough to get a lot of air when you're voted out with an idol, or not with an idol, but by an idol. So we never really got to see a lot of her. She was solid for what we did see. She was in the Alliance. She switched and on the outs, but she still didn't get voted out. She was a swing vote or whatever, and she was good, but pretty boring.
Okay, Julian, Miss Kelly.
Kelly, yeah. Look, I want to say something good about it, but you can't really. Like she.
I think you can.
Well, she wasn't like Hitler.
No,
she's
a neat lady. Like, this is nothing we saw. Like,
she's a neat lady.
She handled the smash and head. Like, she is a trooper, a state trooper, actually, funnily enough, and she was a trooper when she got hit on the head.
Julian Gronenberg puts a great humdinger in.
That works, didn't it? But she like in her bio, like she said some crazy shit like, I've got my disco stick, or no, it was her baton that she's going to whack people with, and we didn't get to see any craziness from her. So
a disco stick.
No, she said something really outlandish, like with her.
What
like,
is a disco stick?
Isn't that what Lady Gaga sings about? Let's play a love game. Want to get you right on my disco stick?
That's game.
Isn't that what she says?
Yeah.
I want to take a ride on my disco stick. Don't be so much. Don't bluff that trick. I want to take a ride on my disco stick. Let's play a love game. Play a love game. If you want love, if you want fame, it's in the... What?
Okay.
So Fresh Hits of 2008, featuring Kelly Remington and her disco stick.
I think you've got the right year as well, so.
Disco stick. Disco stick. Shouldn't that be like a Bee Gees song?
Disco stick. Disco stick. I think that was a Lithuanian Eurovision entry from like 1986.
So yeah, Kelly
and her
discoed out. She just discoed out.
Hashtag disco
Come on,
Kelly.
Alina.
Noah, Kelly Remington and a disco stick.
Yeah, Purple Kelly.
No.
Blue Kelly. What did I say about Lindsay? I liked her when she was in the game, but when she was gone, it was just like, oh, okay, she's gone. Like, does people remember that Kelly was a part of the season? And I did like her, but they only showed her when she was relevant, like to the story, like when she flipped and she was going to be the swing vote. When she wasn't relevant, they didn't show her, and that really annoyed me because I really liked her pre-merge. but I liked her, but there's just not a lot you can say. It's unfortunate they didn't show her more, because she could have been a great character. But we'd just come off big merge boots. We'd come off Josh, Sarah Lucina, well, technically Julie, but Josh, Sarah Lucina, Aris, these big merge boots, RC, and then this one, it was just like, bye. But yeah, she could have been good. It's sad they didn't show her.
Now, refresh my memory. Was this not talked about on social media at the time as one of the biggest blindsides in the history of Survivor?
Kelly's
Was it?
Yeah, that was when Jen played her idol, of course.
I think people wanted...
Was it that vote?
I think people thought that Mike would be targeted, but I can see why they targeted Kelly.
I can see it was a blindside, yeah, because it was when Jen...
I'm pretty sure it was... I remember there was one this season where everyone's like, that was the biggest blindside of all. I'm pretty sure it was a Kelly
No, I
vote.
think what you're talking about is people said that was the best idol play ever.
Oh, best idol. Well,
Yeah.
there was something there, yeah. Well, okay, well, that.
Kelly was blindsided, like, you could tell Kelly didn't think she was going, but because no one was that invested in her as a character, because they'd shown, like, nothing... It was hard to care. It was just like, oh yeah.
Yeah, we'll get to Tyler with that as well.
Yeah.
How do you think it would have played out had Jen not played the idol? Jen went home and Kelly stuck around. Would she go as far as Jen, do you think?
Oh,
There's already a couple more votes.
I'll stop being so Switzerland.
Your hypotheticals were too close
so
together.
technical.
So technical, Noah.
Hashtag euphemism. Your hypotheticals were too close together.
No, I think it was good that she went when she did, to be honest, because, like, yeah, if they're not going to spend time, like, building up her character by, episode 7 or 6, yeah, time to go.
Rossi, I got your thoughts on Kelly, did I not?
I win. Still,
Yeah.
So.
Okay, just wanted to check. So, Kelly and a disco stick went. I'm just actually looking here in terms of her trivia on Survivor Wiki. Her favourite actor is Brad Pitt. We're not bringing that back. She is the second person named Kelly to be voted out by a hidden immunity idol. Following, can anybody tell me the other Kelly?
Kelly Bruno.
No.
Kelly Sarnecki.
No,
Kelly Sharborough.
bless her. Yes, the third one, Sharborough.
Kelly Wigglesworth. Oh, spoiler.
Oh, Kelly, she's going to be on the next season. How awesome. Coincidentally, both women received 4 votes against them at the Tribal Council. They were eliminated at the person who used the idol nullified 7 votes against them. Thanks, Survivor Wiki.
What if it wasn't a coincidence? X-Files reboot. That's what it's going to be about. The X-Files reboot. Kelly investigating the Kelly vote out.
Hashtag hits of So Fresh 1994. Now,
92.
next to go was Hallie Ford Motor Company. She loved that Constitution all the way to the bank, which didn't actually give her any money. Well, she got some money. I don't know how much. First member of the jury, Julian, Miss Ford Motor Company.
Oh, look, I'm glad she made it to the jury, and I watched her Ponderosa, and she was really at peace with it. Like, I think it sucked, though, that, like, I wanted the No-Collar Alliance to take control, and that was when I was just like, oh, dear. So I was pretty kind of gutted at the time, even though... What's that?
So was gone.
Yeah, she was long gone. I do know that. Anyway, Haley. Yeah, I don't know. She was a good character. She was kind of like so much better than you would think, because that's... I can't even say that word now. Yeah.
Well, don't do it.
Damn.
Look, she was hilarious.
Will you
like,
not do it?
She had some funny quotes, like, and her voice was funny too. Like, I think she had kind of like, yeah, like it was, yeah, warning alert, don't say anything offensive.
Careful.
I don't know what you mean by.
Well, give us how does her voice sound? Actually, no, don't.
Don't be an idiot. Don't get voted out. You'll do okay.
Oh, that was a good quote.
Yeah, that was a
good quote, but possibly the worst impersonation this show has ever heard.
Yeah.
Yes! Not me anymore! Woo!
Don't do any... Okay, you try. Come on, no, you're up.
We will be on the next season. Damn it!
Yeah, we really liked surfing America. No, I can't do a Haley impersonation.
What the fuck was that?
See, it's quite possibly one of the hardest.
Well, you do a Haley impersonation.
Yeah, Ben, everyone has it. Rossi, you too. Come on.
America! Fuck yeah! There we go.
Yeah.
That was the equivalent to James saying llama, llama, llama.
Oh, hashtag underrated Survivor Oz moments. Rossi, Haley.
I liked Haley. She had some funny moments, like when Dan was at the tribal council saying flippers never win, and then she says, well, if you look back at history, and then things like that. She had like funny moments like that, but we really didn't get to see a lot from her. She was good when she was talking to Shireen about getting her on side to join the alliance and things like that. And good social and strategic thinking player, but we never really got to see her fully execute any plans because she was gone early. But I really liked Haley. Wish we saw more.
I liked Haley, and I particularly liked it when her and when Jen was in a good phase, and we all liked Jen. That when those two were working with each other. But anyway, Noah. Well, you know what I mean. Like, I love Jen, but like Jen kind of
it's just it's a funny way of putting it, but it is quite true. When Jen was in her good phase, but yeah, Haley, she was fun, but I feel like she was a bit underdeveloped. But I seem to be the only one who thinks that, because people page her online to be this mastermind and this huge character, and I just didn't see it. I thought she was always second fiddle to Jen in everything. Like, it was like she was following Jen, the popular girl, around. I know that's not true, but that's the way the edit kind of showed her. Like, Jen got a lot of screen time while Haley didn't get much, and they ended at pretty much the same position, like not far apart. Not worlds apart. They were quite close. Sorry.
So
yeah,
bad.
I will not do that again. But I might.
You Rodney that up.
I could Carolyn tell you were going to do that.
Woo. That was a woo-ful effort.
Oh, that was a cop-out then. Like Kelly Remington. Stop me! Somebody hang up. No, but she had some funny moments, like when she said surfing was her number 3 passion in life. Like, that was a highlight. Under what 1 and 2 are, I guess we'll never know. But yeah,
America and the Constitution.
Well, yeah, of course. I'd like to hear your opinion on Haley, Ben. We barely talked Haley, I swear, during this entire season.
Well, I mean, one of my favourite scenes of this entire season involved her and Jen nude surfing. Like, how have we not brought that up?
Episode 3.
Yeah, that made episode 3 good in my books. Look, no, I thought Haley was fine. Like, I think she was a fun-loving character who I think her edit, was kind of overshadowed by...
Is that 1 or 2 words?
Oh, I don't know. Ask my editor. I don't have to worry about words. Like, editors fix my words up for me. I don't have to worry about spelling and shit.
I thought you were referring to Survivor Oz episodes. Let's not get into that.
Oh, God, yes. I think she was overshadowed by Jen when Jen went through a good phase. So I would have liked to see her. I predicted her and Jen would go right to the end during those middle periods when we were still doing the rankings. So,
she was out first in the middle period.
She was fine. She was passionate about her country. She loved the Constitution, and she went naked surfing with another hot chick. So, look, I'm all down for that.
And she had a cool voice as well. Like,
how does that go again, Julian?
Don't try and fix it now. Now it's cool.
Yeah, too late.
So she had an annoying voice now. It's like that episode where I bagged out Max, and I spent the rest of the episode saying we love Max. So, look. Yeah, Haley, good. Yes, great. I wish her name would be pronounced Hallie, because every time I look at it, I go to say Hallie.
It's not a comet, Ben. It's Haley.
I thought she looked like a frozen ball of ice in space.
It's funny how many people did call her Hallie, like even like on other podcasts and like on recap episodes, they were like, "Oh, what's that Hallie girl?"
Are you listening to other podcasts, Julian? What's this?
Oh, I'm sorry.
There are no other podcasts except for Survivor Oz. Don't give our listeners, like both of them, an idea that other podcasts exist.
They already know it.
Oh, what's that one about Rob having something? Anyway, go Noel.
Can we do our next lookalike is Haley and Halley's Comet? Just get a picture of a massive comet roaring through space.
Well, in classic
With the
Ozcap tradition,
Constitution in its hand.
in classic Ozcap tradition, I feel like we used to compare contestants to animals, hence our
Let's
famous
not get into that.
Ducky Quan reference. And then Rossi, didn't you try to compare somebody to something a couple of seasons ago and it failed miserably? Do you remember that, Rossi?
Oh, yeah, of course. I remember, podcast number 342 at minute mark 30.
Hey, you're our only listener,
Pretending
Rossi.
that you weren't listening to see if we mentioned something.
I want to put this out there that Haley is a chipmunk. And that's a good thing, because chipmunks are cute. And I think she looks like a chipmunk.
She is a bit of a Bambi as well. Like,
Well, yeah, actually, Bambi. I like that better.
See Bambi.
Bambi, yes.
it's like a little antelope thing.
But she looks like...
Fun, Julian.
But that's a... No, go, round of
that's a
applause for
compliment.
Julian.
Thank
Bambi, Haley, Bambi, Ford.
I
Yes.
think...
What? Deary Ford.
I think it's a very endearing name.
Oh, God.
I think that Mike is an excited dog. I see dog in Mike.
Yes, I seem
Running
like a Great
around,
Dane, like... but, no, like I like the Bambi one, and everybody loves Bambi, and I think everybody loves Haley. Like I don't think I've ever heard a bad word against.
Bed, not Bambi.
What?
I think it's the show is everyone loves Raymond, not Bambi.
Oh, but doesn't Bambi's mother die in the movie? I've never actually seen Bambi. Oh, sorry. Spoiler alert. Bambi's mother dies.
I'm going to watch that tomorrow.
I actually have never seen Bambi. Am I the only person who hasn't seen Bambi? Well, Noah hasn't seen The Lion King.
What Bambi looks like. It looks like Haley. That's about all I know.
Oh, I just want to watch Bambi now and think of Haley.
Joe is a monkey.
A monkey.
It looks a lion or like a little bit of a...
He's too petite to be a lion.
Vince is like one of those like peacock bird things with all the
eagle
feathers.
or something, yeah.
Yeah, with the
He's gotta
feather,
be-
something feather related.
Like those things pointing out. Kelly's
so
clearly just a
him-
disco stick.
So is a cat.
What's
like
Max?
A skinny cat from...
Oh my god, I can see that.
Yeah.
She's like a feline, definitely.
Max
She's
is a
definitely-
lion. Max has got the mane going on already. So
Yeah, but not as good as a lion.
Ah.
Like.
Rodney's just an awesome. I don't know what's Rodney.
Rodney's a howler monkey. Will is a dead fish.
Oh, poor Will. Sierra's like a gazelle. Like, one of those...
Yeah,
sleek, like,
that's a good one.
Yeah.
Flamingo or something, yeah.
Flamingo. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's a bit too
Flamingo.
tall leg, long leg.
Okay, we should probably stop here. I should really be putting that alarm going on, because I feel that, we're going to cross a line here if we don't stop. Yes, we should have stopped at Bambi Ford.
I think them have been quite good guesses.
Bambi's actually... No, I applaud
I apologise
Julian.
if anyone's offended by coupling.
Yeah, well, I think Bambi Haley just sells it.
I think Bambi wins.
Yes, hands down.
Spoiler.
Bambi.
She's
Bambi
not
wins
bloody
season
Tony
2.
the llama. Anyway.
Ducks versus deer.
Ducks versus deers.
Bambi wins.
Oh, you guys are so immature. This is what Ozcaps are about. Hashtag classic Ozcob. Ozcap.
I don't know what an Ozcop is, but I want one.
It's Ozcob, corn on the Ozcob.
Marge, the rains are here.
On top of a type of disco stick.
Oh, this is why these go for 4 hours, Ben. Shut up and move on to the next
Get your
person.
brand new Ozcop disco stick.
Featuring hits by Frank Sinatra. Joe
Wait, the
Anglem.
disco stick plays music? I want one.
Joe Anglem. He's angling out there for new fish. He was next to go. I kept saying that Joe was going to win every single immunity challenge at one point, and it turned out Mike pretty much did. But, well, as of right now, at the time of recording this, to date this podcast, he's out there currently filming season 31. So, Joe, let's start with you, Rossi. What did you think of Malcolm / Aussie 3.0?
Yeah, there are so many comparisons you could make to Joe and Malcolm at like maybe 10 or so.
I think 12.
What? Noah.
Noah.
Awkward silence. Noah.
Rebuked. Yeah.
Riley? Is that you? Go. Is that all you had to say, Rossi, or do you have more?
I don't know what I... thanks, Noah. Thanks for permission.
Jeez, maybe you're the cat. Meow!
Oh, God.
Just move on. It's not worth it.
So not worth it.
Rossi is an abandoned homeless dog that's got all twisted up, angry at
You're
everyone.
butting out.
I heard about 3 words of that, Noah, but
It's probably best you didn't hear that, actually.
so all I have to say to that is Julian, Mr. Anglem.
I think he was awesome, but not as awesome. Like he was a pretty nice guy, and like I don't know, at least he admitted that his strategy game in his Ponderosa and after, like, he was not the best strategist, and that was pretty clear. But I'm hoping that he does better because he was pretty likable, but I think people are going to be gunning for him pretty quickly in the next season, so it'll be interesting. Yeah, he should have done a lot more than what he did.
Winner of the Sexiest New Male for 2014-15. Was that warranted, Julian?
I think so. Should have been it. Nah, that wouldn't have been Sexiest New Male. That would have been female. Yes, he should have won it. That was a good result. Survivor Oz voters, well done.
Yes, thank you. Noah, Mr. Anglem.
You mentioned Malcolm and Joe, and I feel like Joe is the Bambi to Malcolm's Bambi. You know, I feel like it's just they took everything from Bambi, but it just didn't have the same spark as the first one. It was just kind of like, yeah, well, this isn't like I thought it would be. So yeah, Joe is Bambi too, and I wasn't a fan at all, to be honest. I just think, I'm not saying that Joe gets everything given to him. I completely do not think that. But
Eurovision references here, Noah?
Yeah, I was going to bring that up, but then I'm like, no one will get that. But I do think that a lot of people, like, because he's like Malcolm, people like him. Does that make sense? I don't know.
Yeah, no, I see what you're saying, yeah.
I feel like a lot of other players
that
had
well,
to work to get into the second chance cast. Well, he didn't get it given to him, but he did zero campaigning or anything, and people were just like, "Oh, it's Joe!" Woo!
Do you think that if Joe looked like me, he would have gotten on second chance?
That's what I'm saying. That, yeah, I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with that, but
It's hard. Yeah. I was just going to say, like, when you, like, even in his alliance, like, if he didn't look like him, would Haley and Jen have given him the time of day, like, or other people? And I don't know. I suppose that works against you in Survivor, though. Like, if you are that popular, then sooner or later it's your disadvantage because you become a threat, get voted out. So, yeah, I agree with what you're saying, though, Noel. Like, he had to do no work to get onto second chance.
Could you imagine if So had been asked back next season? We had So and Woo. Like, So, and like, no, she's gone. Oh, Woo, she's gone. No, Woo's still in the game. Like, we would have just been going over. Oh, stop it.
I just feel like Joe's strategy wasn't great with the whole sit Nina out and then just cruise and win challenges till he got rated out. I wasn't a massive fan, but he's okay.
What was the moment with Rodney when they said, like, oh, and he had that look on his face? When he was like,
said, is Rodney smart? And he said, what do you think?
Yeah, that look, I love that look. And yeah, like, as I said earlier, like, I think Joe was very meh, but then there was an episode that he got booted. I was like, oh, I like Joe. And then he went, so...
But people paint him out as a fantastic, great player. Like, all he did was make a fake eye.
Yeah, it's interesting kind of with this type that, you know, this Malcolm Aussie Joe type. They always get asked back and, yeah, we've never seen...
But Malcolm has game.
Malcolm's the best out of the three of them, for sure. And Malcolm had personality.
And Joe had a good social game, but Aussie didn't, but Aussie still sort of was persuasive in, like, getting food and, like, doing I don't know, yeah, helping his
So
team.
take Joe's social game, Malcolm's strategic game, Aussie's game, and you've got the ultimate survivor plan. Like
Who is just so hot they melt ice. Well, I wonder if... That was Julian impersonating Noah cutting out, by the way. I wonder if So and Joe had have been on a tribe eventually, that So would have fallen in love with Joe. Oh, don't. Because there's that photo circular. There was this week on So and Joe. So and Joe is filmed in front of a live studio audience. There was that photo going around of Joe and Malcolm together, and they look like twins. But then, So's gotten with Malcolm, and he's so pregnant, or was that a joke post that she put up? Because I was So put up a picture on social media of her with pregnant, and I don't know if it was legit or. No, I'm not joking.
That was due.
Oh God, where's the fucking button?
Do not go there, bro.
No, I've lost it, but I wonder if
Everyone needs to stop joking.
Oh, God. Stop angling for a
Joe
joke.
Quinn,
no.
like Joe Quinn.
Oh no!
We've made so many puns out of this cast name. It's just
Bambi the little deer.
We really took everything. We took everything to the max with this one.
Oh God, smooth operator. Oh, we haven't brought up Philadelphia Fishers this episode yet. Best quote of the season, Noah Groves. Nobody wants a Philadelphia fish. Boo!
Well,
anyway.
Was I not?
Now that is a dirty burger.
McDonald's doesn't even know what it is.
So I was too busy trying to get my tea. For small tea. Oh, I don't want pickles on it. It's not
a small tea with your burger.
Oh God, I really wish Colin was hosting this. If Colin was hosting this, we would have been finished by now. All right, Jen Brown. Everybody's lovable Jen. We love Jen. All she wanted to do. No, don't finish that sentence.
Was Joe.
Oh, all she wanted was a jet ski, and she ended up on a jet ski out of the game. Noah, Miss Brown.
That just made me think of, I think it's Marquez sort of in a larger Amazon with Jeff. Jet ski on the way from the Amazon. Marquez through to New York, must have been a long trip.
Very much so. Jeff's still recovering from it, I believe.
Can we actually measure how long that actually would take?
Google map it. Google map it.
What season? Well,
was it the Amazon?
Jet ski?
I think it was Amazon, yeah.
It wasn't Vanuatu because that was a skydiving season.
It might have been Marquez.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm going to say it's Amazon. I'll Google it.
Can you select?
Can I select what?
If you can select that.
What are we selecting? You keep cutting out.
Can you select jet in Google Maps?
Can I select what? Jet fuel?
What?
What?
Jet ski.
Oh, jet ski. I don't know. I've never got that far on Google Maps. Anyway,
yeah, Jen. Anyway, Jen.
Yes, Jen.
As you kind of said, she had two angles of her game, angles of her game. She had good, and she was a really good character. A lot of people thought she was a really funny person. We smelled that. She found the idol, winner, chicken dinner, and all that. But then she just gave up. She didn't quit, but she gave up. I don't consider her a quitter, but she's a giver-upper. And she just said, I don't care. Let anything happen. I'm going to screw up everyone's game. And was the most disappointing turnaround, and I truly think it could be why she wasn't on second chance, because it was so upset. Oh, not so upset.
Oh, God. Oh, that was a real brown stain on this episode, Noah. No, that was a bad pun. Yes, no, right. Anyway, okay, Rossi, Jen.
Oh, I love Jen. I seem to be the only one around here who likes Jen still. I don't like that she was a giver-upper, as Noah puts it. But she's still a great character. Like, she's like the second coming of Kimmy Kappenberg with the chicken, and she found the idol. Like, she was just all around great. She was able to narrate the story, which is something that we don't have very often, and it's done us very well. She did a really good job of that, and she got stung in her unmentionable area.
That was fucking fantastic. I love that bit where she's like, I got stung. Where did you get stung? In a very personal area, Jeff. And like Jeff is like looking like, oh yeah.
She was very funny.
Yes. She was, yeah, I like Jen still, I reckon. Yeah, no, I do. Yeah. Julian, do you like Jen?
Yes, I do. And I think it sucks that she had that kind of like, I'm not in a good position now, this sucks. But like, that was kind of her no collar, like, I don't give a fuck kind of thing. Like, I can see why people got irritated by that, but that was a pretty cool sort of like, she had a cool dynamic, and she was, yeah, like she had a pretty good quotes with some of her sound bites and good narrating, like Rossi said, and the whole idol thing was pretty inspired. And her and Hayley were pretty like interesting young chicks. Like they were good, because there's so many seasons where there's like, yeah, not as good as them. So yeah, I would like to see her back. I don't think she will now because of yeah, like she pretty much did give up. But yeah, no, Jen was good.
I'm actually disappointed, just quickly, on Google Maps. You used to have the option where you could, like, say, type in, I want to go to Hobart to, like, London. And it would legitimately tell you where to drive, and it would get to, say, the water, and it would literally say, get in a kayak or swim for, like, 1,000 miles. And, like, no word of a joke. It actually said that. And now they've, like, disabled the option, because I've typed in, like, Amazon to New York, and it says, sorry, we could not calculate driving directions from New York to the Amazon.
Tried to sue. They're like, but it told me on the map that I could swim, and yeah. I hold you responsible, Google.
Oh, anyway.
If Jen wasn't so funny, she would have gotten nowhere.
Yeah.
What do you think about her, Ben? Yeah.
I was a big fan. She was my prediction to win the season from like the midway point. I thought she was playing very well. I thought she played it actually a very good game. But as soon as Hayley went, yeah, she was a giver-upper. And that was very disappointing.
Why didn't she try?
I honestly think if she had kept trying, she still could have gone far. But
at least Joe tried.
I feel like on a season like that, she could have.
Yeah. It's disappointing, but it's kind of a case of what could have been with her. So, yeah.
I still am glad that at least this season there wasn't a quitter, and that's been the first time for ages. So,
first time since Philippines, if you want to count Brandon. Did we have didn't have a quitter in the field? Oh, well, kind of with
Dana, but sort of not.
So first time. So basically, first time since One World, we haven't had a quitter.
Yeah.
Well, if you ask Jeff since South Pacific.
Shut up, Jeff.
Get on your jet ski.
Yeah, get on your jet ski and skydive. Anyway, all right. See you, Jed. All right, yeah, please come on the show, Jeff. Shireen. I'm not going to pronounce her last name. I keep getting told off about
Shanini.
How many different names has she called this season? A lot. Yeah, so she was next to go, and this all came down to, like, Mike, would he play the idol for her, and da-da-da, he didn't, but, of course, still caused a little bit of drama. I liked Shireen, again, kind of like Jen for the first bit of the game, but then I kind of fell off the Shireen bandwagon a little bit. Rossi, how's the Shireen bandwagon for you?
I love Shirin. There was a period when she was on the tribe swap with Max that she was really annoying, and she was intentionally like singing and whistling, and that was annoying. But otherwise, I absolutely love Shirin, and I'm so happy that she's returning for the second season. She's just great.
Okay. Noah, Shirin?
I wasn't a fan. It was like the opposite of Vince, a reverse bomb, as you would say. Pre-season I really liked her, but then in the game not as much. It was just a bit like Max. It was just a bit overboard, and I feel like a lot of her confessionals seemed a bit fake and that, and it was just a bit much for me. But I can see why she has fans and why she was brought back. So I don't think she was that great of a player like people say she was. And it's unfortunate that all the stuff had to happen to her, which we kind of glossed over that whole option episode. But like, it's obviously not her fault, but it's unfortunate that that's what her story turned into in the end, and that's all that was focused on, rather than just her game. But yeah, I wasn't a huge fan of her.
Loved her pre-season. Absolutely loved her pre-season. We talked her up so much in that pre-season preview episode. Julian, Shirin?
Yeah, I think she was pretty good. Like, again, there's always going to be, like, you always go off and on a lot of people, I find, over the course of a season. And, yeah, I was like, now she's annoying. I was like, she's really kind of funny. Like, she's quirky, and that's what we want. Like, we want someone quirky. And the fact that she sort of, I don't know. I'm trying to think of something really funny she did now. I can't think of anything, which sucks, because I want to put something forward.
The monkey scene?
Yeah, the monkey scene. Yeah, that was funny. Like, I was like, why can't people see the funny side of her? But the thing is, she just talked and never shut up. So I guess why people were annoyed by her, and I think she did kind of have, like, she is unfortunate that the whole domestic violence thing had to just completely define sort of, like, that's all you think about when you think of Shirin, and I think that kind of sucks for her, because, like, while she wanted to raise awareness for her, and it was dreadful what Will did, she kind of, like, made that her story, I feel, as well as it being edited to be her story. So in some ways, like, yes, she didn't make it her story. It's sort of after the game, like, she wanted to keep talking about it, but it's hard to just sort of separate that now. It's like, I feel like she was so much more than that. And yeah, I feel like at the reunion, we'll get into that, like, she should have just completely accepted the apology unreservedly and let that be it. I'll be really interested to see how she goes next season, but I don't think she'll go far at all. And I think she kind of, yeah, I don't know, like, it's hard to, you can see people kind of getting why they did find her annoying, because she did sort of, like, she did like to play a victim in I'm not talking about what Will said, but just in sort of other ways. I don't know, like, it's hard to quite put exactly what I want to say, but I thought she was a great character, and she had annoying times even as a viewer to watch her, but that's kind of what you want as well.
Complex
character, yeah.
Yes.
So probably being very careful in what I'm saying there, but I liked her a lot, and I just sort of found she did get a bit annoying though, definitely.
It's so interesting that we are, like, talking about this season, and we already got a bunch of these guys out there having their second shot already.
Yeah.
You know, and we can be so public about it. But, I'm going to be very intrigued to see how she goes next season, because I kind of like, I don't feel she's going to go that far. But
she's annoying. Like, she is kind of annoying. It's fun, like, quirky and stuff, but I don't know. I just don't see who would align with her as much. I think natural sort of, like, bonds, people will be like,
She rubbed a lot of people's the wrong way, and not to excuse anything that was said against her during the season, and, you know, the blow-ups and all that sort of stuff, but you know, obviously a lot of people did not like her out there, and was sort of found it hard to live with her how she was.
It's going to be hanging over her head, this whole issue out there, which doesn't work in her favour at all, even though she was in the right to speak up against it, and I'm glad that she did say no to Will, and she was like, nah. We do have to talk about this. This is, like, a really huge part of the season. Like,
go now. No?
I think if Shireen came back for a second time in maybe 5 seasons or 6 seasons, she would do very well. But it's too soon for her. Like, Cochrane, he had time to build bonds and then come back and win it. Her, she's only had a couple of months, if that, to even plan anything out or anything, or build life alliances pretty much. So I feel like that's going to hurt her. That was completely fresh. But yeah, so I think...
Vatting. You obviously said something in there that was semi-humorous because you were laughing at it and we didn't hear it. But yeah, no, I agree with you. I think it's a bit, and like, yeah, it's. I feel like a lot of people walk on eggshells around her out there second time around because
no one likes walking on eggshells around someone. So yeah,
I don't think anyone likes walking on eggshells.
I don't mind it. It's a,
if I've got shoes on, then I'm
leisurely activity to do.
Not barefoot.
Look, it's yeah. Look, I think Julie, you make a good point. It's something we need to talk about. I feel as though we look. We're obviously a little bit cautious in things we're saying in this episode. Fair enough. After we've overstepped a line in the previous episode, so we obviously want to make sure that we don't do that. But I also feel though we do have a right to talk about what happened during the season and discuss it because, as you said, Julian, it was a very big part of it. But at the end of the day, Shireen obviously, she's had some terrible things happen to her in her life, and obviously what happened to her in the game was terrible as well. And it doesn't make for a pleasant time for her to have to go through that and experience that. And I feel at the end of the day, what was achieved out of it was that a lot of public awareness was put out to sort of people in her situation, which is a good thing because it shows that people who have experienced things that she has have a voice. They're able to speak up and speak out against these things, which have really endeared her to the fans. She's a very popular contestant coming out of this season, and whether or not she's the first boot in the next season or middle or she wins the damn thing, she still will be a popular player, I feel, for a very long time. I feel when she comes back she'll always be one of these ones who interacts with the fans and people have a lot to do with her. And I think she was very brave for speaking out the way that she did. I don't necessarily agree with things in the reunion, as you were touching on, Julian, of how she handled that. But that's just for my opinions and what I think of how she handled it. But at the end of the day, I think she was a very brave woman for openly speaking out about what had happened to her and standing up for the situations that happened. So, yeah.
I agree with that was very well put, especially for you, Ben.
Thank you.
Hashtag, ooh.
I've literally got Noah typing in the box on Skype. No, Ben, don't stop. And you thought I was going to, but I was, I was being...
yeah, don't get too... but, yeah, I agree with everything you said there. But I also think Will got a lot of unfair hate. He deserved hate. Don't get me wrong, he deserved to get hate. But some of the stuff that I read, I've never read things like that about any Survivor thing in my life. I was amazed at some of the stuff that was said about Will. Like, there's no need to tweet the man himself saying that he's really hurt. Like, I agree he deserves to cop a bit, but wow, some of the stuff.
Yeah, it was. Exactly. I agree, and we talked a lot about that throughout the Oz Topsies and everything. And look, again, not excusable what Will did, but there were borderline, there's comments, and like you shared one with me, Noah, which I would never share publicly because it was just.
That I did not say.
No. No, Noah didn't type it. Noah, it was on a YouTube clip, I think it was, from memory, or a Facebook post. And what the person had wrote, I mean, it was just disgusting. And look, I don't care if Will was Hitler. Like, it's no excuse to what was said. I feel like he was getting a bad rap.
It's so unfair for him because all these players in the 20 years, Survivor hasn't been on 20 years, but
really?
5 years ago, or say like the first 10 seasons when social media wasn't, there was there's been other questionable bullying and other sort of ganging up and being really nasty to other people in other seasons, but Will just got the social media backlash because everyone's just keyboard warriors, and he was dreadful, and I think it was dreadful that the fact that Will didn't go off at Mike or the other person, because they were saying the exact same thing, so it was bad how he targeted Shireen, and everyone says Mike was such a hero there, but he never said that, hey, I said it too. They were all questioning Will, and he just sort of said, you don't have to listen to this, but he was never like, well, I thought the same thing. So he was a little bit like that. Yeah, I don't know. He wasn't as much of a hero just because he took her away from that situation, because he was saying the exact same things about Will and he didn't get targeted. But
it's the times we live in, and we went over this in the Oztops. We went over this with John in our finale recap. And it will always be like this. I mean, as I brought up with John during that recap, how much hate would Boston Rob have gotten for what he said about John? And Pascal, but I mean, again, different times, of course. I think in 2001,
Ted.
2002, Ted, yes.
Not the movie.
The sequel's coming out, actually. It looks quite funny.
Yeah, I'm not seeing that. I'm seeing Mad Max.
But it's a different time, and this is what I feel that it's going to slowly creep out a little bit more in terms of how people play the game. We had that period of Survivor where people were obviously, aware of the fame aspect and that they could get famous and whatever outside of Survivor. I feel now we're really in that period where a lot of people will probably play a different way because they don't want to get this sort of social media backlash. I mean, look at someone like Dawn, for example. I mean, she went into that never assuming that what would have happened to her did. And, I mean, Dawn shut down her Twitter and basically just hid for a while because of all the backlash after the Brenda incident. But, yeah, it's just that outlet that people can so openly post and comment on things that they see on TV. At the end of the day, these people sign up for a TV show. They're open to public criticism. But at the end of the day, there is a fine line between saying you don't agree with somebody and just being flat out disrespectful, rude, racist, or whatever towards a person just because you like the person better that they were mean to rather than...
I know that it probably sounds hypocritical coming from us because we said some hurtful things on our previous episode, but it's just some of the stuff I saw tweeted at Will. It wasn't even like a comment they just wrote. It tweeted or posted to Will, and I've seen things in the past like, Jacqueline, you deserve to not be able to have kids. So actually, I have kids. I saw IVF, which is kind of pretty cool, but just stuff like that. Do we have to tweet like this? Is people and Shireen now, it's just Survivor and social media. Do we have to tweet at people saying really horrible things? You should be invested in these characters, but you shouldn't think that they're your... I don't know how to put it. People should stand up for Shireen, but you also shouldn't think these people. I don't think I put that well.
No, at the end of the day, it's never good to be it's never good to be bullied, and it's always good to stand up to bullies. But there's always a point where you can stand up to a bully and become a bully yourself.
I think Will redeemed himself a little bit by the end of the game too, and you could see that no one else there really thought he was a bad person. He's not a bad person because of what he said in that moment, even though it was a dreadful thing. And Shireen needs to recognise that too, and I don't know if she does. People say hurtful things when they're really stressed, hungry, tired, at the end of their complete rope, and I feel like he says whatever he can to be as hurtful as possible in that moment. That doesn't mean that he thinks that about her all the time, and I mean...
It was a weird scene because there was a big villain thing. It was being horrible every episode to everyone. It was...
Yeah.
And I do wonder if that's about whatever it was.
People have emotional outbursts,
It was a weird season for a lot of those reasons and a lot of those moments because, I mean, the reunion, it was sort of all covered on things that Dan had said and...
that reunion was horrible.
Yeah, I mean, it just... Yeah, it's... And I think kind of we pointed out at the top of the episode when it was said that this is the closest cast ever, and I think kind of when it came to certain things that were said on screen that caused a lot of people to have backlash about, a lot of the cast members would jump on board and sort of, get on board with a lot of what people were saying, and it could have made for a difficult situation for a lot of things. But again, this is the modern world that we live in, 2015. Social media is pretty much a part of everybody's lives on the planet Earth. So we have to then deal, obviously, with how it is, which doesn't excuse the behaviour.
I'm sure Shireen will come to it in her own terms eventually.
Rossi, you didn't talk for the last 10 minutes. Do you have anything to say about the whole situation?
There's only a certain point.
Sorry, Noah's just flying away somewhere. Oh, there he goes. Go, Rossi.
There's only a certain point where you can start saying things of that it was out of intensity in a moment, because there have been 30 seasons of this show and nothing got that personal that quickly. So I completely agree. Don't tweet Will. He should not have children and he should die a horrible death or things like that. That's not where you should tweet anyone. But I still can't shake the fact that someone would go to such lengths over like food rations on Survivor.
Yeah.
And why just Shireen? Like, I think that was a bit suspect about it. Like, he did target her because she was the most sort of vulnerable and the easiest to sort of go after. And, like, if it had been a man doing that to another man, would there have been as big of a backlash? Probably not.
Of course not.
So,
and that's not to say that, I know what you're saying.
It was the man.
I think even if it was a woman doing it to another woman, it wouldn't have had the backlash.
No, it wouldn't have. Cass and Trish didn't have that.
That's not making an excuse or anything for it.
This isn't an excuse for Will, but Shireen was the only one at camp at the time. Like, Mike showed up, so obviously that has a big part to do with, like, wrong place at the wrong time. Not excusing it, but that's a big reason why.
Yeah.
But he could, I suppose he could have gone. Did Will know that other people had said it too? Because it's like he sort of walked straight up to Shireen when he could have gone looking for the other two if he knew about it. But I don't know.
I feel for Will getting angry, but there's getting angry and becoming a
that's
bully.
Cray.
So anyway, I think we've covered that well. There we go. Just quickly, to get to Rio Negro in Brazil, where the Amazon was filmed in New York, it's 7,846 kilometres, or 4,875 miles. So Jeff must have had a pretty big petrol tank in that...
He stopped off.
pulled him to Cuba and scouted some filming locations in Panama, Guatemala, and Nicaragua on the way.
Yeah, it was a long journey.
It was, yeah. Anyway. All right, that was Shireen. So
I think that said something about Shireen and the impact of her on the season.
Her
she
on
was
the
a
season,
massive part of this season. Like, to put it in nerdy terms, she'll be on the DVD cover.
Yes. Well, she is, according to the fans. Next we go to...
what about yours?
I actually took your advice and I used the cover that you sent me. Oh. Because I couldn't be bothered photoshopping it. Tyler Fredrickson. Now, we were horrible to Tyler pre-game. We absolutely ripped him a new one, and he was one of the stars of this season. He was one of the best players. I think Tyler played a fantastic game. I like Tyler. He was great. He still is great, I'm sure. Noah, Tyler?
Yeah, overreacting on Tyler pre-match, but he just didn't, pre-game, he just didn't give off good vibes. Like, there was nothing to say, this is going to be a great character. And I don't know if he was a great character. He was a good player, but he was barely even in the show for a lot of it until the end. Like, I compare him to Reed Kelly, like, barely in it at all, just talking about food, and then the last few episodes showing up because there's no one else left in the game.
And also really good in Spider-Man.
I like Tyler as Spidey. That was fun. So is that what his animal is? The spider?
Spider Tyler. Spider Tyler.
We can do superheroes because we have Batman with Mike, and then
well, Rodney's Superman.
Wonder Woman is the women because you don't get too many women superheroes.
There's that one from the Avengers played by Scarlett Johansson. I don't know her name.
Black
Widow.
Yeah.
I've never
Black
seen
Widow.
the Avengers.
So is that Tyler then?
Well, maybe.
Who's
Is
the
that
female
Missy?
Tyler? Black Widow. No, that's Parvati.
Well, of course.
Is there any?
Is there other well, there's Superwoman. There's Catwoman.
Superwoman, that looks like a terrible TV show.
Hey, the chick who plays her is so hot. She was Marley in Glee and some other really hot girl in Homeland, but I can't remember her name.
Even that will be able to save.
I'm not going to watch it, but I
watched
she's
the trailer.
hot.
Yeah.
Anyway,
that's terrible. Yeah. So Tyler, I liked him. I thought he played a great game. Everyone thought he was going to win, which didn't happen. If everyone thinks you're going to win, that means you're not going to win because they're going to get you out. Loved his blindside, but as I said in the Ozcap, I don't think you were there, but maybe you were. That they needed to make him a bigger character so that his blindside had an impact. It needed to be like, oh, ouch, he's gone. Like it needed to be a Jeremy, but they didn't edit him like that. They edited him as a nobody, so it had no and that's a big problem with this season. A lot of it had no impact. It did have this season in terms of characters being shown, but in terms of this one, he was a big part of the season, so they should have shown him more, and it should have been really like, oh, Tyler's going to win this, bam, he's gone. But they didn't do that, and it's just kind of like, oh, alright, bye.
And, well, at the end of the day, Mike played his idol too, of course, but, yeah, but we all knew that was
we knew that
anyway.
was going to happen.
Yeah. We didn't really go over too much the Shireen Idol, Mike play, whatever, but, you know.
It was a good try.
It was good, yeah. That's we do a lot of these Ozcaps, if you've ever listened to any of them. We always get messages about 2 days later. Oh, you didn't talk about this. Oh, you didn't talk about that. Oh, they were like the key
We only did an entire season about talking each week after the episode aired.
Download, download Oztopsies. Rossi, Tyler?
I'm not a Tyler fan. I think he's very overhyped. I don't know what he really did. He was... Wow, thanks, Noah. I didn't know that.
I like this, like, little, attitude.
Is that it?
Can I go?
If you want to go.
Oh, you put attitude into it. I love the attitude.
Yeah, I don't mind if you go. It is getting quite late.
Oh, fuck off, Noah.
Attitude.
I thought you were going. Won't work if we both go.
Oh, he's timing shit. Oh!
I don't understand that one.
Is
that American?
Is that like Rossiism? Okay, good call, Rossi. Julian?
Oh, I think Rossi still had something to say. I actually do want to hear what he says about Tyler, because he was, in some ways, a bit overrated.
Rossi, are
you want me to go?
Yeah.
Well, yes, I do.
We'd love you to talk.
Yeah, talk.
I think he was overhyped. I don't think he really did as much as everyone says. I do think he should have voted for Carolyn, but that's another point. He was working with Joaquin. Oh, shut up, Noah.
I didn't say anything. You're mental.
Who was Joaquin Shut Up Noah? I've never heard of that player before.
Even a better player than Hailey Bambi Ford.
It's pronounced Super Bowl.
Yeah, Super Bowl. You realise we've just interrupted poor Rossi again. Come on, Rossi. You need to just pull us into line here.
Ooh, who's in the Rossi fan club?
Oh my god, me and Rossi are totes fans of each other.
Wait, Rossi is in the Rossi fan club?
He founded it.
Rossi fan club. One member. And that's
all right, bad meeting.
Rossi, are you here? Yep. Sorry, Rossi.
Oh, this is my Nigerian friend.
That's so weird that you say that, because I was watching that clip last night, Best of Murray clip.
If you've never watched Flight of the Conchords and you don't know who Murray is,
turn this off now.
Stop listening to this shit. Go to YouTube, type in Flight of the Conchords Murray moments to find out about his Nigerian friend. Oh, you mean the internet lies? Oh, the internet doesn't lie, Jermaine.
the one of the most trusted sources of the modern world.
I got an email from a Nigerian prince.
Nigel Sabladi. Alright, Rossi, I feel like this is amazing. Continue talking.
I don't even know what I was saying.
Tyler overrated.
Rossi's the new Jared Elliott. Like,
I actually want to hear this because I thought everyone loved it.
Okay, in all seriousness, let's all be quiet right now. Alright, well, I'm not going to say anything until Rossi is finished.
I'm muting my microphone.
Go, Rossi.
Oh, finally. No, I just think he was overrated. I don't see a lot of the moves that he did. He was good with trying to work with Joaquin and that, but he never made a move of his own. He was always kind of playing second fiddle to someone else, if it was either Carolyn or Mike or...
Yes.
And I don't know if... I think he's a good player, but I don't think he's a great player.
Okay, so I realised my microphone was muted as well. Julian.
I have to agree with that. Like, when Mike found the idol, or he just told Mike where it was pretty much, and I thought that was a dreadful move, how he told him exactly what the clue said, even though he was sort of like, sprung. He didn't make his own move. He was a good, smart sort of like guy. He was very well liked and considered what he said, and he knew how to not put his foot in it, but he never made that move that he should have. And I suppose he did make it pretty far, and his plan was to, eventually turn on Carolyn, but yeah, I don't know. He was a good player, but it also was a little bit boring too. Like, he didn't get that much screen time, and I was rooting for him to go far, but I sort of knew that, like, even though this was a sort of interestingly edited season, because he had not that much screen time, I was like, yeah, he's not winning. So then it sort of just became like, oh, he's got to go eventually. Yeah, so I don't know. Tyler, I feel bad for burning him so much preseason because, I don't know, like, I thought he was gay, but he's definitely not gay. He's a very sort of, he's an alpha man. Like, he's the boss. Yeah, he's a football dude, and he's just cool. I think he's just sort of like...
I got into trouble for my Kelly comments pre-season about just...
Yeah. No, I respected him a lot, actually, because that would be the game that I couldn't play if I was out there, how he played, so yeah.
Well, look, I just want to break in here right now because I've got some groundbreaking things that will make you love the fuck out of Tyler, okay?
Okay.
Tyler never voted for anyone whose first name was longer than 4 letters.
Well, there
Tyler is the only person in Survivor Worlds Apart to win exactly one individual immunity challenge.
Riveting.
Tyler is the 6th player on the show related to the NFL. I didn't realise the NFL was a family who you could be related to. Following Gary Hoganboom, Jimmy Johnson, Steve Wright, Gary Hawkins, Jimmy Johnson, Steve Wright, Grant Matos, and Brad Culpepper. Of these 6, Tyler is the first and only one to play as a place kicker. Of these 6, Tyler is the only one to never appear on CBS prior to Survivor, as CBS aired at least one NFL game involving each of the other 5. Tyler is tied with Gary for the highest finishing placement among all of them. I don't think he actually played a proper... We talked about this, didn't we, pre-season? I think he was on like about 10 different rosters, but he never actually played like a proper game. Not to take away from the fact that he was in the NFL. I mean, fuck, he's better than all of us. But like, yeah, I'm just pointing that out.
Yeah, it is a random sort of thing. Like,
I way to shit on us.
Hashtag Tyler Fredrickson is better than Survivor Oz. Which is not that hard, to be honest. I mean, anyway.
Fresh is better than
Taylor Talk is better than... Well, it is. He gets nominated every year. We don't get nominated. Fuck you, Taylor Talk.
Hey, we did by the Czech European
That's all that matters. The Taylor Swift doesn't get her recognition in the Eastern European bloc countries. Oh, okay. Thanks, Tyler. Nobody else anything to add on Tyler?
He was out of the loop a couple of times, I just wanted to say, like, with the vote. So, yeah, I mean, he played as good of a game as he could have, but he didn't have that killer instinct, I don't think. And I don't know if he would have got that much respect and votes at the end if he was in the final three. It depends, but...
All right, we're 2 hours, 13 minutes into this. We're already at our fourth longest Ozcap. We're approaching blood versus water territory here, so we better wrap this up. Otherwise, we're going to get to 3 hours and 50 minutes Psalm 1 Del Sur territory. Yes, Noah?
One quick thing to bring up about title that we didn't talk about. I was very
No, he's very diss.
Don't diss him, man.
No, don't cut out. You said you were very diss. What's diss mean?
Appointed.
Yes, appointed.
He didn't vote for Carolyn at the end.
Yes.
Like, obviously, he thought Mike was the better player, but I just thought he really would have voted Carolyn to win.
Here. As you take off, Noah. I agree. Let's move on to another person who didn't get really much of an edit. I don't think we really heard too much of him. Dan Foley. Yeah, I don't know if we're
One way or another, I will be remembered.
Rupert! Hello, Rupert!
Who the hell voted for Woo?
Oh, that is the best Survivor meme ever. And the fact that we then had...
save it and send it to you.
Well, I posted it on Facebook, and Trish and Jeremiah and LJ were commenting on it, banging out Woo, so, like, why not? Noah, Mr. Foley.
He is certainly an interesting one. Probably DVD cover worthy. Because he did have a huge impact on this season. He was remembered. His goal was one way or another, I will be remembered. He certainly was. I feel like he comes off as fake a lot of the time. Yep. And that over the top, which could be actually him. Like, I'm not saying it comes off that way. His confessionals and yeah, he obviously said some bad stuff, but I also think he got a lot of undeserved hate. He did say some pretty bad things, but nothing that we haven't seen in Survivor before that was worse. And what happened at the reunion was unfortunate. Like, he deserved to have a bit of that, but not like half the reunion focused on him and his t-shirt that said male escort with an eye. But that's Dan's character. If we really look at his game, he actually did almost everything he set out to do in the game. Like, he never was on the outs, really, except at the beginning. And he was in the Alliance, and he was doing quite well. It's just his social game. I don't think he had the strategic and, surprisingly, the physical game down. It was the social game. If he could get that, then I think he could be a successful player. So I'm very bipolar on Dan, but I think in the end I did enjoy him as a character. He made the season pretty entertaining, and he had a lot of funny quotes. Smell you later, and like all these other little funny Danisms he did. So yeah, I think I liked Dan in the end of the show.
I like Dan. I have to say, in terms of another sound effect we probably should have had the Austin Powers. Yeah, baby! Because we
had a lot of sound effects. I think he was very soundbite word.
He was. The Dan Foley soundboard coming to the App Store near you. Rossi, Dan.
He just BRB.
Oh, did he? I don't pay attention.
B versus B versus B. Or
Ben Real Boogie.
What? Blood versus Dawn versus Beauty. No, hang on. That's
big red bus. Julian, shut me up.
Dan Foley. Danimal Foley. Look, he was a good character. Like, you don't get... That's what I reckon this season is going to be actually, like, hopefully remembered more fondly, even though I don't know how it's going to hold up on the rewatch, but you can't say it doesn't have good characters like Dan, like Shirin, like so many actual characters.
So was a good character too.
She was only in one episode, but she was.
Exactly. I do agree with that. And he was... I don't know, he was on the... I was surprised that he did so well because out of the start of the game, I was like, there's no way this guy's going to go far. He's going to get voted off. But he was pretty good in an alliance. He did he did stick to things. He stuck to the plan, and that worked in his favour. I don't know if he played another game, if he could be... I don't know if he could be as sort of like fluid, like change as plans went on, because he didn't... Yeah, I don't know. I think his game was decent, but I don't know if that was circumstantial that his alliance managed to sort of stay intact. And yeah, he never knew that he was on the bottom in that 6, and he sort of should have. And Mike was trying to sort of tell him, but he just didn't want to hear it. And so he wasn't very aware. And, you know, like, I think it sucks how the reunion focused so much on him at the end, but you know, when Jeff pulled up that raw footage, it was him proving a point, but it was him saying stuff like that. So I don't know, he tried to be too funny and have too many sound bites. I think he was trying to get to be remembered, like, and that sort of, yeah, I don't know. He's not a bad, yeah.
We went over it a little bit, I feel, in the last Oz Topsy, but yeah, I just think, again, as kind of my point, I think Dan's just one of these people that, like, I mean, you all have your uncle or your dad even. I think it's more so my dad. Like, you know them very well, and they say things that if were said on live on television would be considered very inappropriate. But you kind of just fob them off.
What's your dad saying?
Where do you think I get it from? But like, you know, you kind of, because that's just, you know them, and you know that they don't genuinely mean them, but you still should say them. And I think that's just Dan. And at the end of the day, he's on a TV show watched by 10 million Americans every week, more people around the world. And again, going back to the whole Shirin situation, we're now in this day and age where, yeah, we don't have 30 million people watching Survivor every week, but we've probably got, you know, a whole bunch more on social media commenting and all this sort of stuff. So, for sure, Dan, the type of person he is, what he says, how he acts, is never going to go down with your conservative America social media users and everything along those lines, because you really shouldn't say the things that he says. But again, I don't think Dan's a bad person. I think that I agree with Noah 100% that yes, he said very inappropriate things. I also think he got treated a little bit very unfairly at that reunion. I think it should have been moved on after he apologised for it, but Jeff had to make a big song and dance out of it. With the disco stick, was all that was missing. But yeah, at the end of the day, Dan was a great character. I think, yeah, exactly as Noah said too. I think he actually did play a fairly decent game that was overshadowed by the fact that he was, you know, how he was. I sadly don't think we'll ever see Dan play again because I don't think Jeff likes him. Clearly, but I think that's a bit of a shame because I think Dan would be great on a second time around. Maybe that's just me.
He did make a good point though, and show card a bit. I'm not actually going to do that. Like when he said he would slap Shireen like that. It was a horrible thing to say, especially with her background. But he certainly didn't mean it, like literally. That someone should slap her. It's just someone should make her not talk because she's annoying me. Like someone should slap you, Ben. And no, I'm not joking. Someone should. Yeah.
Yeah. No. It's there's a fine line there. And look, I don't want to get into all of that. I think we covered it well before with what we said earlier. But yeah, it's just how it was. And again, the most fascinating thing to me out of all of it was actually getting to see that raw footage. I thought it was unnecessary, but it was very interesting as a Survivor fan to actually see
30 seasons in to see that little bit of,
completely raw footage that was not edited and was zooming in and out, and we saw camera people and the production.
Yeah, that's what got me so excited. Just seeing, like, I was like, oh my god, it's just a camera dude. Like,
and I loved how Jeff literally pointed out, like, you'll probably find it's actually quite boring because, yeah.
I love when he said, I pulled the tapes, meaning his intern minions pulled the tapes.
Yeah.
And found it. He was too busy jet skiing.
Yeah, and skydiving. He's 7,000 kilometres to one side to the other. Anyway, that's Dan. Anybody else have anything to say to Dan?
I want to hear your Dan impersonations because mine was too rude.
Who the hell voted for Woo?
That's Rupert.
Oh, there's a difference? No. We love Rupert and Dan. Dan,
I don't think they're alike at all.
No, they're not. Dan impersonation. Fuck, I don't know. Rossi, I want to hear your impersonation.
No.
Perfect. That was really good. I thought that was the best.
I heard Dan. It was like Dan was on the call.
I know, right? Like, I actually was about to say, Dan, welcome to Survivor Oz. Congratulations on your biggest villain of the year, Oscar. But anyway, all right.
Oh yeah, I love that he campaigned that. That was awesome.
And he won it. And he, I actually messaged him to congratulate him so I can get his award out to him, and we're hopefully getting Dan on the show soon. And he's quite pumped that he beat Joaquin in Sexiest New Male as well. So,
well, he campaigned. So
he did. Now, moving on here, I think there's a typo here, and I don't... Yeah, something's wrong here. Sierra? Who's that? I don't know if that's... No, come on, we had to do it! Hello, Sierra. Sierra, Dawn, me and Thomas, John Thomas Jr. I can't remember that joke we had in that episode. Let's start with you, Rossi.
Thomas Jr.
Well, she's got, like, Sierra...
Jay?
Sierra, Easton, Dawn, me and John, JT, Thomas... Junior. She's got like 3 different survivor
Billy Garcia.
Hashtag bring Billy back. Rossi. Sierra Dawn Thomas the third Junior.
Yeah, I was upset about what we saw from her. Not in a way that it was of her own doing, but I was upset that we didn't get to see a lot of her. And I was really upset that we got this storyline of her wanting to turn on the blue collars only to vote with them, tribal after tribal after tribal. I just think this season was very disappointing in the editing and how a lot of storylines never played out, and we got more of the negativity, and it was weird with Sierra. I liked her, but we never really saw her. She got 20 confessionals. That's like a third boot sometimes.
Average 1.43 confessionals for the entire season, which... if I'm not mistaken, might be the lowest. I'll confirm that. Julian, Sierra.
I feel like she played a better game that was given credit for, but they just didn't show it. Like, I feel like in some of her exit interviews, she was pretty well liked. I don't know, I feel like she could have won against Carolyn and I don't know, maybe obviously Will, and Dan in the final 3 if that situation sort of ever eventuated. But yeah, like I don't know, just because she wasn't just because it became all about Mike, really, like that just overshadowed her in the blue collars, and she was smart to sort of maybe align herself. I think she played a pretty good game for the most part. Like you can't really criticize people that maybe they didn't do anything is the criticism, but you don't want to do too much. So she got it pretty far.
She didn't make it to Sam Wendell, so she got pulled.
Did I say Sam Wendell? So I don't know what you're talking about.
She shouldn't
do. Oh, yeah, sorry.
Hashtag God. Leave do out of Do you reckon Do has a club with RC's dad and Melissa McNulty?
Yeah,
they've got the outcast. The
Survivor. Maybe they're just doing it deliberately. So by like season 42, they've got like an entire cast ready to go. There have been 16 people cut at the last moment. We've brought them back.
And then 14 of them drop out right before the game starts.
Yes. We're stuck with nobody. Jeff Probst will play against the camera people.
Boston Rob, Rupert, just all these people coming out because these other people dropped out.
I look again, just rehashing, everything that I said. I'm just plagiarizing everything that I've already said in the last season. But I think that she was a lot more liked.
A lot well.
It's a new development you can get. No.
Maybe we should plagiarize it. A lot well is.
They're a Swedish house band. You should look them up. But no, I think that she was very well respected out there, and I think more so out there than we ever got to see. That a lot of people probably thought she was a real threat because we saw that, didn't we, from about last few votes, they all wanted to get her out, and they all thought she could win, and we're all like, what? Who? Well, who's Sierra? But look, as much as we shit on Sierra and joke about her not being seen, not her fault. She seems like
as much as you do.
She seems like a very nice person. I like Sierra. I think I compared her to Kim Spradlin pre-game. I think she looks like Kim Spradlin. And at the end of the day, I would love to. I'm looking forward to getting her on the show so we can find out more about her game, because I think she's going to be one of these people in the halls of Survivor who got a terrible edit but probably played a lot better game than we realised and will give a very good interview. Noah, Sierra?
I liked Sierra, and I agree. I was completely blindsided that she got voted out over Carolyn that night. We were watching it live, and it was like, what? Sierra got voted out? But it was kind of like Kelly. They only showed her when she was relevant to the story, like specifically her, like when it was, will she side with Joaquin and Joe and Tyler, or will she stay with the blue collar? She got a lot of airtime there, but then otherwise we barely saw her, which is unfortunate because I did like her, but people kept saying week to week on the website, why do you keep saying she's not going to win? It's like, because we're not seeing any of her, and I predicted we wouldn't pre-season. I thought, we're not going to see her. But, yeah, at the end of the day, she's not going to be a returnee. She's not a legend, but she was still a part of this season, and I didn't dislike her at all. I thought she was an okay player and an okay character. So I'm fine with Sierra.
Yeah, I like Sierra. Hello, Sierra, if she's listening. She's from Roy in Utah, and one of the few occasions where we get a unique job, and they actually get to test their skills out. She's a barrel racer, and she got to barrel race. So, you know, she's up there with Cliff Robinson and his basketball shooting. And, yeah, anyway. All right, let's just sit down and talk for the next 3 hours about this next person, Rodney Lavoie Jr., Rodney, where do we begin? Julian, where do we begin with the almighty Rodney?
You just have to say he's like classic with his accent, with his just sort of like expression, so many pop cultural references, so much sort of like bravado, but just kind of like a little bit tongue-in-cheek. He's not like everyone, like if you don't get him, you're like, oh my God, who is this arrogant tool? But he's sort of like, you know, whatever, like, and the fact that he was so well liked, still to me, means that I reckon he was a bit of a threat to get some votes in the final. I think he was underrated, like, as a player as well. So much has to be positively said about Rodney. Yeah, he had his hothead moments, but, you know, over a course of 39 days, you can make some mistakes, and you can sort of piss people off, and it's not like, you gotta... You know, if you're well-liked, you can overcome that sort of stuff. Like, whole thing with Lindsay, it just didn't... Yeah, he was awesome, and he needs to be brought back, and the fact that he got that sort of secret, like, evil alliance or whatever it was called going was, yeah, underrated player for sure.
I want somebody to compile a Rodney quote list, because... it is just the best. And you just read his pre-game list again. Inspiration in life. Tom Brady, he is the GOAT, greatest of all time. He has 3 Super Bowl rings, a wife who is a 10, loves his line of work, and fires me up. Go Pats. Hobbies, going to the gym, working out, playing basketball, video games, popping bottles at the club, and going to sporting events. Pet peeves, when guys take kissy face selfies on social media, and poor driving and etiquette. And what 3 things did you bring to the island? Cell phone, if it has service, my boys, and a group of girls.
Party.
Oh, God.
Party.
I love this man. Rodney. Rossi, are you there? Are you off popping bottles in the club? With your disco stick?
His disco stick's out of battery, I think.
Noah, right, Rodney?
Yeah, Rodney was such a caricature. Like, it wasn't like he was an actual real person. It was just like, oh, can't believe this. But he was so entertaining. He was entertaining brought a lot to the season. But something tells me Jeff Probst doesn't like it. Like, Jeff doesn't talk him up like you would expect Jeff would. And I'd like to think they would bring him back. He was a brilliant character, but maybe they won't. And yeah, he actually had strategy, which not a lot of people saw. And there were times, I'll admit, he got quite unlikable. The whole episode 3, episode 4, the whole birthday thing, like that didn't need to last multiple episodes.
Yes,
like,
it did.
That could have been a one episode thing, but despite saying some bad things, he is a really likable character and probably the best of the season. So entertaining, and deserves to be brought back. He's like the most quote-worthy soundbite contestant of this season, and there's just many good things to say about him. So yeah, huge Rodney fan. I thought he got more hashtags than anyone else this season.
He's top 10 character in my eyes in the history of Survivor.
But can I just say, he did suck at challenges.
Oh, he did. He really sucked at challenges.
For some reason, he was just like, oh.
And he never got his reward.
Because he didn't eat as much, or I don't know.
And one of the funniest memes of the season was the one where they're all standing up on the platform, and because he's so short, somebody photoshopped a picture of a little tiny Rodney on a little platform. It was hilarious. Yes, it was funny. Rossi, you're back now. Rodney.
I don't know. I've kind of fluctuated on my opinion of him. I like him. I don't like him. I think I like him now. I was a big fan preseason, but I think that faded a bit. He's the Tom Brady or whatever he calls himself of Survivor.
The GOAT.
Yeah, I think he was a good player, actually. Surprisingly, I thought he'd be one of those kind of bros who doesn't really know what he's doing. But he was actually pretty good. Unfortunately, his Secret Alliance didn't really do anything. It was this big thing for episodes, and all it did was isolate Mike. And
it dominated the entire game. That's what the whole post-merge was about.
Yeah, but what did they do?
Ran the entire game?
And how did that pay off for any of them?
Well, because Mike kept winning challenges. If he didn't win 3 out of 6 of them, or 3 out of 4 of them, or whatever, would have won. The final 6 was made up of all those members plus Mike.
Well, I'm talking about the 4, though. The specific 4.
Well, 2 of the 4 are in the final 3.
And how did that work for them? They got 1 vote
3
each.
of the 4 were in the final 4. 4 of the 4 were in the final 7.
4 of the 4 were in the final 18. Awkward silence.
Well, I was kind of expecting Rossi to actually talk back in this.
Yeah, right. I was waiting for Rossi too.
It's a very one-sided debate.
Like Jared versus Noah without the Jared.
I didn't have a comment after 4 out of 18. So.
No, she was first boot.
Oh, shut up. Don't do this, Ben.
Oh, maxing it out there.
A very awkward debate right now. Are we going to talk about Survivor, or
we're going to be a great debating team? I reckon if Survivor Wiki got their stats gurus to actually analyze an episode of Survivor Odds, they'd be like, oh, on their 30th Ozcap, only 26% of conversation was about Survivor.
The font used on this article was taken from People magazine.
Ben only spoke to people with more than 4 letters in their name. Oh, Rodney. I love Rodney. Sorry, I just get excited.
Yeah, well, let's not talk about this alliance thing, because this is going nowhere.
Well, I could finish.
Well, if you would, that would be nice. We'll do it, then.
All right.
Hey, she's not on this season.
All right, well... I think the Alliance is a bit overhyped. I don't think it really did as much as you claim it did, although it did get far, I will say.
The entire game!
Smooth
did not
operator.
run the game, but okay.
This is going to be...
But it kind of did just seem like an alliance that was just like everyone but Mike. And like, just get Mike out. That was...
But if Mike had
voted out... Wait.
I'm on your side, Noah.
In a season with a Pagonging, and they get to the final, let's say Thailand, final 6, and it's 6, not with me with my Jake ridiculous stat. Final 6, it's everyone and then Jake. It's not an alliance of everyone but Jake, it's an alliance that ran the game and voted everyone out, and Jake's the last member left, and they've done their job. And then Jake would just happen to win all the challenges to get to the end.
Hashtag justice for Jake.
That's like saying any alliance that votes people out is an alliance except for this member.
I do feel like this was a Pagonging season, though. Like, even though, I don't know, they tried to make it seem like in each episode that it wasn't it sort of ended up
Was it a Pagonging? We had a final 3 with each of the tribes at the end.
Yeah, I don't know.
The point I'm getting to is they were the alliance of the season, of the whole postcard. So to say that they didn't do their job, if Mike didn't win the challenges, then they would have been completely successful. But that's just my view of it anyway.
Smooth operator. Oh, sorry.
I guess my viewpoint is that we never really saw it as a solid alliance, as in like, whereas the Thailand 5 were a solid alliance that you saw doing moves together, because we never saw the alliance work in that fashion. Like, cause I think Will and that were always...
Thailand Alliance had Brian Heideck in it? Like, shut up.
I don't know, I disagree. They voted in a block, that's what an alliance is. But that's,
no, I'm just saying from what we saw, like, besides voting, I mean, beyond that, I think that there were...
But wasn't there a scene where they voted Carolyn and then they all just reconvened as the alliance, and then Mike's like, oh, they're leaving me alone once again. But nothing will break this alliance. Anyway.
Julian, you and I can just go grab a beer, mate. We'll just leave these two at it. What do you reckon?
Yeah, only if Cable cracks it open with his...
Oh, so you only want Cable there to have a beer. I'm not good enough to drink beer with you, Julian. Well, fuck you!
Julian, let's have a beer. Only if Cable's there.
Only if Cable's there.
You're a prick!
He stood me up because he said he was going to be on this Oztopsy and...
Well, I know who's your favourite.
Hashtag stood up.
Stood up. Shunned.
Yeah, where is Cable? Like
he's probably drinking beer.
First Ozcap? No, we see he's at the rugby. Like, who says they're at the rugby? Like,
he's too busy being sober. Yeah.
Oh, God.
Sober Sally.
No, she was on season 12. Anyway, bad joke.
And she was sober on that season, so yes.
Finished talking about Rodney. Oh. Will Sims 2 busting out.
Let's move on.
Will Sims 2 busting out. University.
Getting to the raspberry phase of the...
Did we talk about the fire making challenge at all? No, I mean that was...
Yeah.
Oh fuck! See, oh, thanks, Julian. At least you're on it. Yeah, Rodney lost because of a fire making challenge. Carolyn won it. Rodney didn't. We talked about it. There we go. Okay, Will Sims 2. Will Sims 2 pets.
University.
I hated the pets one. You couldn't do anything good with the pets. Like, they were just there and they did shits and everything. Like, what's the point of this?
I never had the pet.
Oh, we didn't talk about the auction either.
I tried to mention it, but you disregarded me.
Oh, okay.
So vote doubler has just been completely...
Let's get to the end of the players, and then we can talk about some of the moments that happened.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Will Sims 2. Will Sims 2 dance a move. Julian.
What about what I thought of Will?
No, what you thought about Sims 2 University. Did you like it better than Sims 1?
Oh, but not as good as the Pets expansion pack or Nightlife. Sims Nightlife was the best. Because you got them hooking up in the town.
Because you like the nightlife, you like the boogie on the disco.
But you're only going to go into the nightlife if Cable's there.
Yeah, exactly, Julian. If I was at the nightlife, no.
Well, Kelly Remington, I'd go because she had the disco stick. So
with
it depends.
The disco stick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would go
Will
with Kelly.
Okay, Will.
I don't know. Will you?
He redeemed himself a little bit. I think. I think he had a camaraderie with everyone, and he knew he was never going to win, and I don't know. He
knew he was going to win.
He knew he wasn't going to.
Oh, right. I was about to say, what? Did I see a different edit?
All way back when he worked against Vince, though, that could have been so interesting if they had
went first.
Yeah.
All right, stop it. Sorry.
I don't even know what you're saying now.
It was so not funny.
So yeah, Will was a bit of a goat. And not as funny as I hoped he would be from the sandwiches in episode 1.
Yeah, look, to be honest, the most disappointing aspect of the season, we didn't get to see the sandwiches.
That's right. Never got to make those.
If he was a politician...
We'll get sandwiches next season.
Yeah, well, we better. Rossi, Will.
It's hard to talk about Will without the thing, but I think it's tricky because I want to like Will for his funny comments. Like, he was like, oh, whatever, the flies like the chocolate or whatever, and the sandwiches and things like that. But there is this like dark side to his game because of what he did and what he said and things. I think he played a terrible game, and I'm not trying to defend his game because I think it was terrible. But
talk, Rossi.
And his apology at the reunion was terrible. That was pathetic.
Okay. Noah, Will Sims 2, University Edition.
I liked him with the whole sandwiches thing and that, but I said at the merge episode, I said, Will is the worst player in this game, and I want to pull the sound clip like Jeff Probst, because everyone's like, no, don't say that about Will, Will's really good. And I'm like, oh, sorry for saying that about Will. Flash forward 3 weeks later. Will is the biggest goat. But yeah, he was a big goat. Anyone would beat him at the end, just mainly based on the Shireen comments. But I'm guessing other reasons too, like he didn't really play the game in people's eyes. Although I thought he defended his game quite well in the final 3. As much as he was a GOAT, he actually had quite a strong performance there. But yeah, he was barely shown, so it's hard to really gauge it. He had some funny moments. The Wilhelm scream, the belly flopping on the board, and Jeff, that was good.
And that's a picture that will be used in Survivor meme history forever.
Yeah, and I really like... I really like his birthday comment to Rodney when he goes, "Somebody has a birthday!" That was
like Elmo.
Yeah, that was a really funny moment if you remember that one. So yeah, Will, he's an enigma, but he'll be faded from memory of Survivor lore, I'm sure. Like, he won't be too fondly remembered, but he was okay.
A Willigma? No? Alright.
Such a Willy Ben.
He could be Will Sims 2, Will Sims 2 Special DVD Edition, Will Sims 2 University, Will Sims 2 Nightlife, Will Sims 2 Open for Business, Will Sims 2 Pets, Will Sims 2 Seasons, Will Sims 2 Bon Voyage, Will Sims 2 Free Time, or Will Sims 2 Apartment Life.
That was a lot to go for a short joke.
Sorry, I'm just reading a list of Sims 2 games.
Sims 2 Free Time? What's the rest of the Sims then?
Will Sims 2 fucking busy.
Will Sims 2 Free Time, that's the no-color Sims.
And then if he has a child...
that should be the new branding. The Sims Blue Collar, the Sims No Collar, and the Sims White Collar. That should be their next expansion pack.
It will be. You've just... it will be. You've just sold that.
Yeah, well, if CBS has anything to do with it, then...
And if Will has a son and calls him Will Sims the Third, there could be Will Sims 3 World Adventures, Will Sims 3 Ambitions.
Ben, so will you not do this, please?
Oh, I'm so sorry. I won't do that ever again.
Alright.
Yes. Alright. Here we go, Noah. Carolyn Rivera. Let's just leave it at that and go to Noah Groves.
Yeah, she is freaking awesome, and it was awesome when she came on the Oscars, and she didn't win, which was cool.
And she loves you, Noah. She said it on air that she loves you.
Yeah, you're like, here's Noah, and she goes, I know. Like, that was cool.
Good Carolyn.
That was a bad Carolyn. That was more Sandra, but I can get loud too. Yeah, that was awesome, wasn't it, when she said that? She said she's read some of my posts praising her game. She played a phenomenal game, and people say, no, you love her.
They're tweeting it?
Yeah, I've got tweets ripping into me for my Carolyn love. People saying that I'm blind, and a lot of abuse for praising her game. But I called her the female Brian Heiting, Mrs. Freeze, and they're both on the episode together. Not at the dinner together, but... yeah, I really think... Like, I was gonna write...
Just got that?
So fresh, 1623. I was gonna write a blog post, an article about... I could really write 5,000 words, if not more, on Carolyn's game. I already kind of covered it in the report card in the top 10, so I didn't bother, but I think there's just so much there from day 1 through to day 39, and it was... Yeah, maybe Mike deserved the win, but at the end of the day... To tie with Will, the biggest goat of the season, that everyone hated up. Well, everyone didn't hate him, but everyone wouldn't vote for him. She just played so hard, and maybe they didn't love her as much as we thought they did. But they called her Mama C. They must have loved her if they were calling her Mama, unless they all hated their mamas, I'm not sure. Well, Mike didn't, because we saw Deborah, was that her name? I can't remember.
Yeah,
I'm rambling now, but I really love Carolyn as a character and as a player. I think all round she's full package. Most confessionals in the first episode, should have been on second chance, was completely robbed, and people can try and pick apart her game, but I will defend it to the game. It will be a better debate than the 4 into 18 debate that we just had.
Here.
One of the best players in recent time, I think. She is so good. I would just continue to defend her, and you can keep mirroring me.
All right, Rossi. Carolyn?
I do not love Carolyn as much as everyone else. Well, not everyone else. People don't like Carolyn, but as much as Noah and you. Oh, thanks. I got permission to go.
Just talk.
All right. I think she is a good player, and I'm not saying that she's a bad player, but I just think that she gets a bit more credit for some of the things she did. I like her as a player. I think, I don't know, I couldn't think of something right away, so I couldn't answer that.
Yep.
Are you thinking? Or...
I think...
Sorry, I just didn't know it. Are you thinking?
I'm just joking.
Joking.
Well, not necessarily rated, but she goes through an entire middle section of the game where she's barely speaking, or she's barely heard from.
That's true.
And then also I think her voting out Max was not a good decision either.
But she was in the final 3.
All right, I guess that's it.
Like that's like the people who say Sherry did everything wrong. She's in the final 3. It's late and I keep arguing.
Leave Rossi alone!
Well, it has nothing to do with Rossi. I just said I will defend Carolyn's game to the end, but maybe that's another podcast.
Can we do that? The Carolyn Rivera special episode. Featuring Noah Groves.
Yes.
On So Fresh.
What, it's an audio book?
Can we do an audio book? Can we just plagiarize a book and just read it and just sell it for Survivor Oz? No?
Mario Land.
The Boston Rob rulebook, as read by Ben Waterworth. Okay, Julian, Carolyn Rivera.
There is so much to love about Carolyn's game, and the idol, the way she held on to him, played it at the very right moment, and just shocked the shit out of them. She was really calm and measured. Like she sort of, I don't know. She was just She should have got more than one vote, and I just think, like, I don't get why there wasn't that respect. I think it was just because the no-collars really liked Mike, but in a different situation with different people, that I don't know. She should have gotten more. Yeah, she should have gotten a lot more votes, and she agree with what Noah said.
It is, to me, one of the biggest Bermuda Triangle mysteries in the history.
She played a better game than Mike, in my opinion. Sorry.
X-Files 2016 reboot.
It is just... there should be an X-Files episode, like a mystery, a cold case. Remember Cold Case? That was a good show.
Is it just a monster of the week, or is it an ongoing
No, it's an ongoing investigation into why Carolyn only got one vote at the end to win.
That's going to be the subplot for the new X-Files reboot.
Mulder, I don't understand. Scully,
I want to believe that Tyler had a reason.
But like in the voting that we just did for the Oscars, and we had to vote for the greatest player never to have won. I nearly put Carolyn, and I think you did, Noah, put Carolyn. Like, out of 450 odd players, and 29 of them have won, so 430 players who have never won this game. She's up there to me in the top 5 greatest to have never won this game. And, like, people can call that recency bias or whatever, but I am just so in love with her game and how she played. She was a great character. And it's just such a shock how she did not at least get outright second. I'm not trying to take away from Mike's game, because we'll talk about Mike in a second. Mike played a great game. But I know people don't like us saying things like this on air because, there are a lot of people out there who, with that opinion that you win the game, you're the best player of the season, and that's fair enough. That's your viewpoint. I don't necessarily agree with that, and I would say, as much as people will go off at me for saying this, that Carolyn played a better game than Mike, and I think Carolyn deserved to win this season more than Mike.
I agree.
Necessarily think she deserved to win it more than him, but I just think she deserved at least second place. Like, if Mike's gonna win, fine, he won, the jury vote's over. It's a social game, but to come equal second on one vote out of 8 jury members with Will, it's just an enigma to me, and I think she played a brilliant game. Maybe better than Mike, who knows, but at the end of the day, it is social, and Mike won the social vote. So.
And again, I'm not taking away from Mike, so we'll talk about Mike now. I mean, just in our report card, they were the only 2 that I gave A's to, so, Mike played a great game, and Mike deserved to win the season, but just in my viewpoint.
It really crushed my heart when Jeff said, Carolyn, you're not on second chance.
Yeah, because I think we all said, we how many times did we say that, Carolyn and Mike, one of them will win and the other will be on season 31. So as soon as Mike won, we were like, at least Carolyn gets a second shot. And again, that's going to be like the sequel to the X-Files episode about, first of all, why didn't she get more votes and didn't she win? Mulder, why wasn't she brought back for season 31? I don't know, Scully. The truth is out there.
I feel like still being in the game really hurt her because people are like, I'm not going to vote for her because she might win and it will be a wasted vote. But I don't think she's a lock to come back in a future season. I think this could have been her chance, and it really crushes me.
And it's just this continuing streak of these older females who get right to the end and I feel don't get the respect they deserve. And, we've only really had Denise who's gotten that in the last 5 or so seasons. And, I'm probably opening up a can of worms by saying that. But, yeah, I love this woman. I'm like, can I just invite Carolyn and Rodney out to dinner? I'll take them out for beers. Cable can't come. Julian, you're not invited either. But
yeah, she is amazing. One of my favourite all-time players, and I'll cop all the hate online for her. I will defend not only her game, but her as a character. And yeah, Carolyn.
She had some pretty good sound bites, so Yeah, she said so when she found, she's like, I don't know which way I'm going to go. And she did this weird thing with her hands and like...
that was, I have to admit, that was
random.
It's like Exorcist, her head twisted right round. That was
Yeah.
Noah, quick question, and this is in terms of when they knock on your door, this is to go out and play, like take him to a Fatty Essa concert. If Jacqueline and Carolyn knocked on your door at the same time, who goes to the concert with you?
I feel like Carolyn would be more into a punk rock concert, like let's go to the pub, have a few beers, but then after that we'll go and have a Create Your Taste with Jacqueline.
Oh, Create Your Taste! Would you get a small tea?
Turf with a small tea.
Oh,
I'd take them both. I don't care about you silly one.
Can people please, right now, I don't know if they've got this in America, Rossi, but go to your local McDonald's, and it'd be great if McDonald's could sponsor us at the same time, but like go and get a Create Your Taste. They are the bomb diggity. They are so good. Have you had another one since, Noah?
No, I'm really in withdrawal right now.
No,
it's
Rossi,
been too long.
Rossi, do they have Create Your Taste at your local McDonald's?
No idea.
It's like you can go in there and actually make your own burger.
How very un-McDonald's.
Do you have McDonald's in America, Rossi?
Yes, I've never been.
You've never what? You've never been to McDonald's?
No.
Are you actually telling me the truth right now, Rossi? You've never been to McDonald's?
This is true.
How? No, okay, no, this is... Stop press. Like, how, as an American, and not just in life, have you not been to McDonald's?
Scully, I want to believe it's not true.
Haven't gone in?
But why?
McDonald's.
Why? Why not? Why?
Julian, are you back?
Yes,
we've just discovered Rossi has never been to McDonald's.
Is it an East Coast thing?
No, it's McDonald's is like the most American thing in the world, is it not?
It's a bit ghetto though over there. Like they consider it like the dodgy. Like they'd much go to a better burger place, wouldn't they?
But you can build a burger at McDonald's now. Like, what's not to love about that?
How very un-McDonald's of it.
I am in shock, Rossi. That's like a new question on our Auslan application forms in the future. Now, have you been to McDonald's before?
So he's never had a Philadelphia fish then?
You've never had a Philadelphia fish, Rossi?
No.
Is this the fattest conversation we've had on the show?
Louise, I tell you what, this is Louise and I. The other day we were shopping, and on the way home we were like, "Let's get a McDonald's. Let's get a McDonald's cheeseburger." So we got a McDonald's cheeseburger, and on the way home, I said to Louise, I would say McDonald's cheeseburgers are in my top 5 favorite foods, and she said I would say the same. They are like, it is like, it is like having sex on the moon whilst having drugs and watching Survivor. It is that good.
Unless it's a cold one and it's not, yeah.
Oh, I need a cold cheeseburger. Why not? Like, it's a cheeseburger.
They don't go off. Yeah.
Rossi, you are missing out, my friend. When I come to America next year, I'm going to fly to New Jersey and I'm going to buy you a McDonald's cheeseburger. Cool. I'm glad you're excited for it. All right.
Can we just make? Never mind. Okay.
No, we
can save it.
What do we say?
Cheeseburger, that is. They don't go out there.
Oh, there's a 24-hour McDonald's like 5 minutes from my house.
Yeah, can you pick me up so we can go and build a burger?
Yeah, I'll drive the half an hour to Snug just so we can go build a burger.
Yet?
No,
they're not delivering, but Kingston McDonald's 24 hours.
Oh, all right.
Hours, that's good. That is.
No, hurry up and get your license.
Well, I don't want to pick you up.
No, I didn't know. You can go get your own build a burger.
Oh well, that's going to be fun.
You guys talking about picking each other up.
To build a burger with me.
All right. Anyway, it's 3 hours into this podcast, and we said we wouldn't go over this long. All right. Mike Holloway, the winner of Survivor Worlds Apart. He's Batman. He's doing the happy dance. He's like a dog with a bone. He is Mr. Excitable. Noah Groves, Mike Holloway.
Yeah, I feel like I probably should apologise to him, considering I called him a douchebag and a huge villain in the preview episode when he proved to be the opposite of a villain. He was...
Well, he won Best New Hero.
Yeah, well, he won Best Hero. He was definitely not a villain like I said he was going to be the second coming of Russell Hantz and all that. Well, certainly didn't ring true. He was actually quite loyal and heroic to his alliance members. So I was completely wrong there, but I think he played a really strong game in the pre-merge. I think he had control of the blue collar with Kelly. He was determining who that. He had Dan with him. Rodney was with him. He was the one who decided that why. Well, I think Dan had a lot to do with the Waikin vote, but he was controlling all that. So he did play a good pre-merge, except for when he was fighting about firewood. But and then he showed promise, but the Sinister Six, as they were called, and even though Rossi said they weren't a strong alliance, there was really no breaking this alliance. So he had nothing to do other than to try and swing things around, and pretty much. But he was still trying week to week. He would try with the Shirin and the idol play. He would try to swing Dan over. And apparently he had a lot to do with the Tyler vote out. I'm not sure if that's true or not. We'll hear, hopefully, from a few of the players if they come on for interviews. But he did play really hard, and he obviously won the social vote in the end. He had all the relationships that the other players didn't have. My critique of Mike, they were the positive. The criticisms would be the auction move. I think that was a really bad move, which really you can defend it, but that shaped his entire game. Everything from there on out was about the auction move. There we go. We talked about the auction.
There we go. Thank you. Cover that one off.
So everything was all about that, and that really shot him in the foot. And then the other thing, I know you disagree, Ben, but if you find yourself in a position where you have literally zero things to do other than to win immunity to get to the end, that is not a good position to be in. Like, Carolyn had options. She had Mike, and then she had Tyler. I'm not saying Carolyn deserved more than no. I'm just using that.
Yep.
That's a big... But other than that, I do think he is a good winner, not the best winner in Survivor history, not a top 10. But he did play his arse off, but did a few things wrong though.
And just one quick thing I'll raise, his move at the end to force the fire building challenge rather than just vote out Carolyn. Yeah. Do you have anything?
That was, I was pretty harsh on that when it was happening in the moment. It has pros and cons, because at least then you might be able to get Carolyn's vote if she loses, but she probably may have voted for him anyway. I think.
Yep.
I wasn't too high on that move, but it was alright.
Okay. Rossi, you McDonald's-less boy, you.
Sounds like he's unwrapping a cheese.
I want a cheeseburger.
I want to build a burger.
Rossi, Mike.
I think Mike's game was very good up until the auction, where he kind of blew it up a bit. I think up until then he was playing a very solid game. Yeah, minus the firewood. But he was building those bonds. He was making the alliances. He was in control, but he made it so that he didn't look like he was the alpha person in charge of making all the decisions. I don't think his Final Four move with Carolyn was a bad thing, because in the end, it didn't matter. He won. I think he's a good winner. I just don't like the fact that he had to win to win.
Okay. Julian.
Yeah, I think the fact that he was in that position has to take some of his, as impressive as it is to win all the way out, the win, you're always going to rank the winners higher that, had to were vulnerable at the votes. And the fact is that all these people just wanted him out for so long for so many votes, and he had immunity idols, and he had, immunity wins, and I don't know, I just think he psyched the other people out. Like, I don't really think he was a challenge beast, but these challenges aren't as beastly anymore in season 30 as they used to be. Like, I don't know. I do think he played a good game, but he was good like Tony in the fact that he was always hustling. He was always trying something. You've got to, I think in this era of Survivor, you've got to give respect to that, because he did always try stuff, and he was always, hustling, so to speak. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like he was a little bit full on to people out there, and I mean, he obviously won the social game, so really you can't criticize it. But I don't know if he was up against like if there was a different jury, and I'm not saying it's a bitter jury or anything, but I just think the jury really liked Mike, these group of people. But if you get all the other juries, I don't know how many. I think Carolyn would have got way more respect on so many other juries with so many other players. So I don't know. He's a pretty good player, but not probably as good as some people would talk him up to be.
Got to mention the 5 immunity wins. Ties the record. Colby, Tom, Aussie. Most immunity wins in a season. I'm glad I added Aussie in there. I always seem to leave Aussie off that list every time I brought that record up. But yeah, I liked your reference there, though, Julian, that they're not as beastly as they used to be. There's an article in there, I think. It's
easier to win challenges now, like for everyone. Like I think, and Sierra did come close, but yeah.
Well, I mean, people sometimes seem to shit on Colby winning the 5 that he did because of his opposition. And I forgot Terry this time around, didn't I, for his 5 immunity wins. So, yeah, I mean, there's an article in there. One of us can write it. Out of the 5 men to have win 5, the 5-5.
Who's truly the best of the challenge?
Top 5 baby, you could call it.
Yeah.
Top 5 baby when challenges were beastly.
All of them are returning players except for Mike.
I don't think you should be debating like, this season had these challenges and that. Like, it's too like subjective and iffy when you get into all that stuff.
Okay.
It is subjective though. It's very subjective, but I don't know if he is like.
Okay.
I think he benefited from the no collars. Yeah.
We'll quickly bring it up really quickly, so we're going to get into our final bits because this is officially our second longest Ozcap, folks. All right, so the extra vote twist. Noah, did it work? Do you want to say it again?
I wouldn't mind seeing it again. If I never saw it again, I wouldn't give an F at all. It was just like, it was worth a try. It really didn't work the way they thought it would because Carolyn screwed it over by playing her idol. But yeah, it was okay. I love that Dan got it. Like, normally in any other season, it'd be like, Spencer got the double. Like, it would always be like someone who really needed it or someone who's like the fan favourite. So it was great to see Dan getting it. So it was okay. I didn't love it or hate it. It's better than the Medallion of Power.
Anything's better than the Medallion of Power.
So, chicken medallion, McDonald's.
Yeah, we're sharing pictures of like McDonald's burgers in the group chat right now. I'm so fucking hungry.
We're not
Hashtag burger porn.
We're not doing that.
Oh.
Yeah,
sorry.
but it was an okay twist. I didn't love or hate it, and it could work again. But hopefully not next season. Give it a bit of space.
Okay, Rossi?
I like it, but I think it's just way too obvious of like an advantage. I feel like a hidden immunity idol's kind of hidden, and people may not know you have it. But like Dan had a piece of firewood in his bag that people could see he had, and then he has to like alert Jeff that he wants to use it. Like he's like, "Hold up, Jeff, I want to play the vote," which in turn tipped off Carolyn that she should play her idol even more so than before. So I just think if they're going to use it again, it should be refined a bit more.
Julian?
I liked it. I'd like to see it like every single season now, like idols, because yes, it could be, a lot of the time it can go pretty boring, like what happened, but if it's in every season, eventually like it can go a lot of different ways, and it could really like, people would strategize a lot about it. So Yeah, I liked it. I'd say that was a pretty good twist, but it didn't, even though nothing came of it, if it's just sort of a regular part of like the twist makeup now, could be good.
Okay. A few things that we close out with before I get to the final questions. Confessionals, we've touched on them a little bit. Most confessionals this season went to Mike. He had 74, which is quite a high amount, really, if you think about it. The next highest previously in the last 10 or so seasons, obviously Tony had 98, but we hadn't had somebody go over the 70 mark since Boston Rob. Before Tony, so and then you got to go back to JT for the last person then. So pretty heavy edit. Rodney just behind on 52, so he got more confessionals than Natalie, I believe, the previous season. Yes, he did. And third was Carolyn on 50. Dan had 37. Jen 36. Shirin 33. Tyler 27. Joe 26. Will 24. Sierra 20. Haley 14. Kelly 12. Vince 12. Joaquin 10. Max 10. Lindsay 7. So 7 and Nina 6. Noah, do you have quotes? Is it too early for quotes?
Let's look here at these quotes brought to you by Survivor Reddit favourite Worlds Apart quotes. I haven't looked at this, so here we go. You better relax, bro. That was a good one. I love this one. I'm coming at you with facts, bro. Rodney's very good. Here we go. As a coconut vendor, I seek truth. I'm a seer of real. That was good. Life to me is like surfing a wave. Big. So let me surf this for a second. That was good. Let's look here.
Winner chicken dinner.
Winner chicken dinner. Surfing is probably my number 3 passion in life. Haley, we chose Will as the leader because he promised the sandwiches. That's literally why we chose him. Here's a probes one. Dan is wrong again. Dan, I don't disagree. After bidding on a covered item, it's probably grilled ass or something. I don't remember that, but that's funny. It's probably grilled ass or something.
Rodney's itchy beard. That was a good one.
Yes, hashtag itchy beard. I hope beard the itchy.
Wait, here's the most appropriate quote of the whole night from Dan. I love cheeseburgers during the challenge. Let's see, is there any other really good ones?
Once again, another fan who can't do basic math.
Yeah, that wasn't bad, Dan.
Shanini.
Here's a Jen one. Suck less if the people sucked less. Alright, let's have one more. Where's a good one?
Itchy beard, itchy beard.
What about Rodney? These people are fugazis. Fugazi-ass women.
And how can we forget the Luke Longley reference? How do we not bring...
Oh, yeah. And I'm like Tom Brady.
Oh, okay. Yes.
Will, final one. Will to Jeff. You might get voted out tonight, Jeff.
And what is it? The game is afoot. A great man once said that.
Oh yeah, that was a good one.
We had so many One World references this season. It was great.
I really wish we had the Rodney to do some impersonations right now.
Rodney's impersonations were just the best ever. All right, in terms of trivia, no, you're going to be happy because there's actually only 7 bits of trivia. I'm not even kidding.
Too many.
This is the 4th season to have a 3-tribe format following All Stars, Philippines and Cagayan. This is the first season to have 3 starting tribes in which one tribe does not lose the first 2 immunity challenges. Didn't really touch on that, did we? Whereas we've always talked about the 3-tribe seasons, always having one tribe that literally sucks. And then we always get 2 of the sucky tribe at the end. I don't think we had that this season. This is the first time in the US version to have a castaway to be able to vote twice in a single voting. All hidden immunity idols were successfully played to save their owners. Jen Brown negated 7 votes cast against her on day 19. Mike saved himself on 4 votes on day 32. Carolyn nullified 5 votes, including Dan's extra vote that were cast on day 35. This is the first season since South Pacific to not have a contestant quit or be medically evacuated.
Yeah.
There we go. This is the
wait,
first...
oh wait. Oh wait, never mind. Medivac. I thought they were claiming on Survivor Wiki that Colton was acquitted.
No, if they did that, I would have written them a new one. This is the first season since Gabon to utilise the fire-making tiebreaker challenge. That's a bit of a mouthful. This is the first season with 3 starting tribes and a final 3 to have a representative from each of the original tribes present in the final 3. What is the font, Survivor Wiki? I'm disappointed. Okay. Is McDonald's cheeseburger. Okay, so quickly going...
Let it go, Ben.
No, I will not frozen it up. Okay, so pre-season predictions. Let's quickly go over these in terms of our pre-season questions. Who will win? I said Max. Julian, you said So. Rossi said Nina. And Noah, you said So. I'm not going over Paul and Joppy's opinions because they don't count. Who will be the first boot? I said Carolyn. Noah said Dan. Julian, you said Nina. And Rossi said Will. Who will be this season's GOAT? I said Shirin. Noah, you said Carolyn. Julian, you said Joaquin. And Rossi said Max.
Well, I'm technically right.
Well, yeah, I'd give you that. Who will be this season's no vote getter? I said none. I said nobody would get no votes. So I'm right. No, you said Carolyn. You're close there. Julian, you said Joe. And Rossi, you said Max. Which contestant will be likely to return? Let's see if any of us predicted anyone. No, we didn't. I said Rodney. Noah, you said Max. You're closest. Julian, you said Kelly. And Rossi said Lindsay. For just at home, Joppy said So, and Paul said Rodney.
Ooh, I was close.
Which tribe would we be on? Well, we don't really need to go over that again. Which tribe will lose the most members pre-merge switch? Somebody have an answer for me? Would that be No Collar?
Well, yeah, No Collar.
I said Blue Collar. Noah, you said No Collar. Julian said No Collar. Rossi said White Collar. All right, here we go. Our favorite question: which former player will be mentioned first in the season? Now, who was it? Do we remember?
Well, it's a bit of a debate because I say it was Tarzan, but other people would say it was Richard Hatch.
Okay. Well, I said Kate.
Kate! We haven't even mentioned
We haven't
Kate!
brought up Kate! Robbed of a 7th try on season 31. Noah, you said Yasmin Giles.
Yasmin was robbed.
Oh, not as bad as Jessica DeBen. Paul said Russell. Julian, you said Spencer. Not a bad guess. Joppy said Margaret Bobanich. And Rossi, you said Natalie. Now, was that Natalie? Which Natalie?
Probably the winner.
Oh, so Natalie White. Okay. Who will get the most confessionals? So it was obviously Mike. I said Max. No, you said Rodney, so you're closest. Julian said Shirin, and Rossi said Tyler. Who will get the least confessionals? AKA the Purple Kelly edit. Well, we'd give that to Sierra, wouldn't we?
Right. Yeah.
I said Haley. No, you said Sierra. Julian said Will, and Rossi, you also said Sierra. What colour will the merge tribe be?
Clear.
I said Auburn. Noah said newspaper print. Julian said shark grey. And Rossi, you said Albacant. Who will be the first to find an idol? It was Carolyn. I said Rodney. No, you said Joaquin. Julian said Max. Rossi said Vince. Who will receive the most votes against them in the season? Who would have gotten the most votes against them in the season?
Dan.
Maybe. Well, I said Shirin. No, you said Vince. Julian said Joaquin, and Rossi, you said Rodney. I reckon Rossi, you're probably closest there. Who will be Propes' favourite? Well, I think it was Mike, wasn't it?
I'd say Mike, yeah.
Yeah, well, I said Joaquin, Noah said Rodney, Julian said Joe, and Rossi said Shirin. Who will be Propes' least favourite? Who is his least favourite? Dan?
Yeah, Dan.
Dan, definitely.
Dan or Will.
I said Vince. Noah said Vince. Julian said Vince. Rossi said Sierra. Which tribe will be the Matsing Lutes on Saboga? I said blue collar. You said no collar, Noah. I reckon you're right there, Noah. Julian, no collar. And Rossi, white collar. Will there be a quitter? I said no. Noah said Vince. Julian said Tyler. And Rossi said no. Not as bad as that season, I think. Was it last season where you said there would be the same person would be the quitter and the winner?
So technically, right? She quit.
The showmance this season, I said, would be between Rodney and Dan.
Wait. What was it? Is it Jen and Joe?
Maybe so and Joaquin, but that's stretch.
I reckon it's Rodney.
Stop wishing.
I reckon it's Rodney and
It's not
Mike.
going to happen, Julie.
Rodney and Joaquin, wouldn't it?
Rodney and Will.
I'd say Rodney and Joaquin. That's
Jen
the
and
only.
Joe is probably the most.
I said Rodney Dan. Noah said Kelly Sierra. Julian, you said... I'm not actually going to say that. Rossi, you said... Rossi, you said Rodney and Rossi. Rodney and Rossi, really?
Wait, Rodney said that? Wait,
Yeah,
Rossi said that?
Rossi said Rodney Rossi.
Whoa, Rossi.
And just for the sake of it, Julian, you said Joaquin Nina. I thought you said something else, but I read it differently. Will there be a Medivac this season? I said no. Noah said Dan. Julian said no. And Rossi said Kelly.
Rossi's closer.
Kelly almost got
well, she nearly got decapitated. And of course, listen to our Oz Topsies to see what we predicted each week. Okay, wrapping it up with our Ozcap final questions. We get to ask these once every 6 months. Let's start off with Julian. Who was the best player of the season?
Carolyn, followed by Rodney.
Rossi.
Carolyn.
And Noah.
I guess Mike, but I want to say Carolyn, so I'm going to say Mike, like Joaquin's first vote at the tribal council, where he voted for 2 people.
Michaelin,
yeah.
Most underrated player of the season, Noah.
Jonquilin. Most underrated player would probably have to be Dan, I guess. Dan, yeah.
Good call, Rossi.
I'm going to say Sharon.
Julian?
Underrated player. I don't want to say Dan because maybe Tyler.
Worst player of the season, Rossi?
I believe it will go to The Sims 2 University.
Cool. Julian?
Will.
Noah?
I really had to say this, but because she's so lovely, but it would have to be Nina.
What was the best challenge of the season, Noah?
Was there one good one? The first one where it was choose your own adventure and they got to pick the different knots and Carolyn said, "How exciting that you opened some knots!" One of my favourite quotes of the season.
We didn't really talk about the challenges this Oscar because they were pretty shit. Rossi, best challenge of the season?
We'll go with the one where Nina sat out.
Julian?
I can't remember any of them, so let's just go with the very first one.
Just say the one where they had to stand up for a long time.
The one, my favourite one where Jen got bitten on the butter bee. That was
what? The butter bee? Is that what you call...
Let's not go there.
Okay.
Well, the other challenge was when Dan got the puzzle wrong twice.
Yes. Jeff, I've got it. Dan is wrong again. We didn't mention the lovely interaction that Sharon and Jeff had, where Jeff's like, so it's like it's like, the thing. Yeah, anyway, I like that
was
moment.
funny.
The biggest moment, the key moment that decided the game, Noah.
I'd like to say the auction, but really, Mike still won, so the biggest moment that decided the game would probably have to be when the fire breaking challenge, when Joe was voted out. I don't know. I'm lost. I have no clue. I want to hear the other answer.
What's the question?
The question is, what is the key moment that decided the game? Rossi.
I'm going to say Kelly getting voted out. because she was originally the fourth person in that Rodney alliance.
Okay, Julianne?
Maybe when the auction. That's the main thing I can think of.
Are you being told off for being too loud right now, Julian?
Oh, sorry. Am I...
I can hear you talking slightly quieter.
Oh, sorry.
Are we getting you into trouble?
I'm trying to... No, I'm just trying to do my seductive voice.
Cable's getting angry?
Yeah, no, auction, definitely.
All right, okay. Biggest what-if moment of the season, Julian?
What if this season was never actually made it to air and they filmed it?
Okay.
That's right up there with Jared. Oh, I don't really know because we haven't seen it yet. Okay, well, fair enough. It's taken 30 seasons for that answer to come up. It's a pretty legitimate what-if, if you ask me. Rossi?
What if So could untie knots faster?
Noah?
What if the Nina, Will and Vince alliance thrived and Joe was voted out second?
The worst moment of the season, Noah?
Probably the whole Shireen v. Will, but I'm going to add a personal one in Carolyn only getting one vote at the end.
That question just reminds me of Australian Outback when you say, oh, probably when Deb Eaton got voted out and we get Lance here. Oh my God, Noah! Hashtag classic Ozcap moments. Rossi.
Hashtag Lance.
Worst moment of the season.
Yeah, all the unnecessary drama.
Okay. And Julianne?
I want to think of something else because there were a few shit moments, like probably episode 3.
Oh, yes. There you go, Dylan.
Sexiest male and sexiest female of the season, Julian.
So would be the sexiest woman, and Joe would be the So and Joe.
So and Joe is filmed in front of a live studio audience. Rossi.
Lindsay and Rodney.
Oh, okay. Lindsay, yeah, I like the Lindsay choice there. Noah.
Yeah, it has to be our stars of CBS Monday Night Comedy, So and Joe.
I just want to put out Jen.
Yeah, she's up there.
Jen, yes. We like Jen. Biggest what the beep moment, Noah?
Maybe the Will and Shireen vote, but also hold up, bro.
Rossi?
Probably when Dan called Shirin Shanini.
Julian?
Probably when Shireen raised her hand and she was just like, I object.
Oh, yeah, that was a good...
Whoa. Oh, yeah, we didn't talk about that, did we? The objection.
Kind of did.
We're going to get complaints. All right, player... Well, this is an interesting one to be able to ask this one this time around. Player you would most like to see return that hasn't returned. We're all going to answer Rodney for this one. No, Julian, who would you like to see?
Oh, I would like to see Rodney, but I'd also like to see Hayley again, actually, and So. I keep rating So, I know. I didn't mean to rhyme either. And
you know, with Joe? Is that so?
That's so true.
Ross?
Do this.
Oh, woo! This is almost over. Rossi?
Noah's gonna like this. I'm gonna say Carolyn.
Woo!
I wonder who Noah's going to say.
Carolyn, but special mention to Vince.
Okay, yes. Now, this question is not relevant, so I should have really deleted it. What was better, Blood vs. Water 1 or Blood vs. Water 2?
Someone else.
Someone else, yep, alright. And the legacy of Survivor, Worlds Apart, White Collar, Blue Collar, No Collar. Noah.
It's hard to gauge so early, but it could be the double vote, the vote double. That could go on to be a big thing like the Hidden Immunity Idol. But for now, I have to say it's a bad legacy. Dan said in the reunion he didn't want this, but I think it will be remembered for a lot of its negativity and its Will and Shireen and all that surrounded it. So unfortunately, that's probably the legacy of the season.
Rossi?
I'm gonna say the challenge decision choices.
Mm-hmm. In what way?
Like do you want to solve the easy puzzle with 50 pieces or whatever?
Oh, right. That we saw once, and hopefully we might see again. I get what you mean. Yep, no, fair enough. Julian?
Legacy, yeah, just the sort of controversy and like the misogynisticness and blah blah blah, and the social media outrage and blah blah blah.
All right. Now, just quickly, one thing I didn't go over, we obviously have just done the Oscars, so our rankings, we've already got our rankings this season. I'm not going to go over everybody's, but just the ones who are on the line right now. Rossi, you put Worlds Apart at 29th out of 30, and you put Mike at 20th out of 29 winners. I put Worlds Apart at 27th, and I put Mike at 22nd. Who is next on my list here? That would be you, Julian. You put Worlds Apart at 17. We went over that. And Mike at 15. And Noah, you put Worlds Apart at 26. And Mike at 20th. Now, spoiler alert coming up here. If you haven't seen our, well, at the time of recording this, and probably by the time I publish this, you haven't seen our season and winners rankings because they haven't been published yet. I can tell you that winners ranking, Mike actually did fairly well. Mike came in at 7th, believe it or not. So Mike was very high up on the winners rankings, but when it comes to the season rankings, it's a completely different story. Worlds Apart was in 28th. So only just beating Redemption Island and South Pacific. Even Caramoan beat it by 1 vote.
Let's not hear about this whole recency bias thing.
Yes, exactly. Alrighty, that wraps up our 30th Ozcap. It will go down in history as our second longest Ozcap. Good job, gentlemen. Julian, always a pleasure, mate. I'll let you go be loud
with my
cable.
dog.
Yes, with your dog. Whatever floats your boat.
Thanks, man. Good times. See ya.
No worries. Rossi, always a pleasure, mate. Go to McDonald's and eat a fucking cheeseburger.
No, I'll pass.
Well, you're an idiot. And Noah, as always, hashtag let's go build a burger.
Yeah, I'm really upset that we can't do that right now. Technically we could. Just putting it out there, Ben.
Well, not everyone has to work tomorrow, unlike you, like me. We all have to work.
Not everyone has to work, unlike you. I have to sleep in.
Yeah, well, some of us have to sleep in.
Yeah, like that night where I had to not wake you up. Yeah, and
well, that's a bit. Oh, okay.
I didn't want to wake you. Yeah, yeah, thank you very much. 30 seasons. It's been a very turbulent half year for Survivor Oz, but I feel like we've kind of come a bit around. It's good to put this season to a finish with a good Ozcap and bring on Survivor Second Chance. But yeah, overall, I keep saying Survivor is like pizza. Even when it's bad, it's good. So fun times all around.
Well, we look forward.
Survivor is like McDonald's.
Yes. But it's never bad, McDonald's, so you can't use that quote. We, of course, will be then bringing you coverage of Season 31, Survivor Cambodia / Second Chance. We know the cast. We know where it's been filmed. As of recording this, we're up to, what, about, like, day 14, aren't we, at the moment?
When Joe got voted out.
Can't believe Kelly had the idol and like blindsided him. It was great. Hashtag we don't really know spoilers. So we're looking forward to bringing you coverage of that season. In the meantime, we got some interviews lined up. Yes, we still do them, believe it or not. So keep an eye out for them. We're going to plan on doing an episode. We're thinking of doing it. Well, we want to do it. Sort of just a Survivor at 30 episode. So kind of. Reflecting on the 30 Ozcaps and reflecting on the 30 seasons. Considering this one to talk about one season took 3.5 hours. Good fucking luck listening to those. Okay, Vito.
Hour 27.
I want to rank this season at Vito. Actually, that's not all right. We could do that. That wouldn't take us very long, would it? No, Ben. No more rankings episodes.
No,
and also commentaries. We'll be back next week. We're going to wrap up All Stars and move into Vanuatu. So Get excited. SurvivorOz.com. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter. Subscribe to us on iTunes. Subscribe to us on YouTube. And hunt me down and subscribe to me in person, because I'm sure you can do that too in 2015.
You'll be at McDonald's.
I'll be at McDonald's, all of them, in Hobart. Thank you for your continued support of Survivor Oz, to our 2 remaining listeners that are left stuck with us after this last season. It's great to have you on board, so thank you very much. Until we next speak again, my name is Ben, the tribe has spoken, and we will speak to you next time on the So and Do train.